Let me know if you can hear me. Doing some facial animations today. Very excited. Sounds good. Good. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm just smashing through the shop. Let's have a look where it's at.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So we did a first blind pass yesterday where we took it to this point.
Once. Wow.
I think really quickly before I do the face, I might do a quick head shake on a layer when he's thinking here, just because I think it'll look cool, and then maybe some breathing or something. But then facial animation, which I think is my favorite part of the process, and I think there's a lot of good tips and tricks that I picked up along the way that hopefully will help you guys out. So I want to add some head shake in here, so I'm going to do that on a layer. I'm just going to make a layer for the head. Hey Ender, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. First time chatter. Right, so I'm going to make a layer called head shake, and I'm just going to chuck some little head shakes in here. Also, if you didn't know, there's this little dot here, and if you right click on it, oh, you can see it, okay. If you right click on it, you can change the color of your keys in that layer, and that way I'll know if I'm in this layer. Because sometimes I'm accidentally in layers without realizing. So somewhere in here, for about this amount of time, I think I want to have some head shake. So I'm going to do a head shake on freeze, maybe. Let's have a look at it in here. Cool. I want to make sure that, you know, we don't have any static channels for this head shake, so all of them are doing something. So like this period of time, for example. I'm going to add a little bit of variety to it. And this feels a little bit stiff, I think. Maybe we'll vary it up like this or something. Don't want it to be too even and consistent, so something like this might work a bit better. And I guess we can go in and out of it more linearly.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
So we got that. He's doing a little head shake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offset these channels though, because the apex is all on the same. So I'm trying to think about what's leading, what's following when I'm doing a little head shake. Didn't feel sick. I think the Z might be leading. So I'm going to pull that forward a frame. And maybe the Y can drag a frame, and we'll see how that looks.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
I don't think the Y should drag. Maybe the X can drag. Let's have a look at it.
I didn't feel sick at all. 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 I didn't feel sick. Didn't feel sick.
Cool. So I think that works, but I'm going to turn it down a bit. So I'm just going to scale those keys. Got a little hotkey for that.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
Little subtle thing I just wanted to add in before I did some facial stuff. Anyway. So yeah, here's what I meant. These keys are blue now because I'm in that layer, and if they weren't blue, I probably would have forgotten to go back onto my base anim layer. But now I'm back onto my base anim layer, so it's all good.
Wow.
Cool. So I'm going to go into facial animation. Well, hey, so you can look at this disgusting facial picker that I made. I usually start with the eye mask, which I consider kind of the eyes and brows area. I think that's kind of the way that I've always learned it is the eyes. You think the thought process, and then the eyes react to it. The eye mask reacts to it, and then that goes through the rest of the body. That's kind of how I've always been taught. So let's focus on section by section for just the eye mask to start out. And I think I'll do the brows for... let's do a quick pass on the eye direction, actually. So like there's a little eye dart in here, but right now it's on like 4 frames. Usually eye darts can be like 1 or 2 frames, so... And you want it to be able to read. So I'm going to stick an eye dart there. Let's hold that in that pose. I'm just going to blend this one back a tiny bit so it has somewhere to go. Just so there's a real subtle ease in. Let me zoom in so you can see that a bit easier. So yeah, little eye dart. Let's keep it where it is so that it isn't moving around too much during this section.
Wow. I didn't feel sick.
So we're leading the thought process. He has a little eye dart which begins the thought as he starts to, before he says something, right? That's kind of
I didn't feel sick.
What I'm trying to do.
I didn't feel.
And maybe for a bit of texture, we'll add another eye dart during this move or something. It needs to be big enough to read. Maybe it should be a frame earlier just because the head's moving up quite a bit on that frame and I want it to read. So let's just do a 1 frame eye dart in here. We can hold looking up here until we do an eye dart in this direction. I'm going to tighten this up and just blend this back so it only moves a tiny bit on an ease out and then a tiny bit on an ease in.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
I think this... He's looking too far down on this eye dart. I kind of want him to be looking up a bit more. So let's do that. I'm just going to give that somewhere to go so it doesn't stop on one frame. It has a one frame ease in. And then I need to, you know, key some of these back to where this one is.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not all.
So before the knot change, I think I want a tiny little eye dart in here just to show the thought process. I don't like this shape right now. I'll get to that. The eye shape in general. Don't need any of these keys in the middle. They're just confusing. Make sure that this is this, right? Yeah, okay. I think what I was doing before was smart. Yeah, okay. Little thinking eye dart in here. We'll hold that. And then maybe it can blend back in or something. We can keep it here, it's fine.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not at all.
But it's a bit early. I'm going to delay it a couple frames.
Not once. Not.
So I'm dragging the eyes here, which I think is cool. He's keeping eye contact with his friend. And then he's going to eye dart over for this move. And then he needs to eye dart back. So I want that to be quicker. So the eyes can lead.
Not once. Wow.
Cool.
I didn't feel sick at all.
There's a quick eye dart pass before I get into some bits.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So let's do some eyebrows, as I was just talking about. Personally, I do eyebrows a bit layered. I like to do the ups and downs first. It looks like it's a bit still on the first frame, so maybe I can do some compression, and then we can start to come up. Eyebrows are quite snappy in general. I always do them quite snappy, so stuff like this can be quite quick on the in-betweens. We can have some hang time. I'm just going to chuck that on 2s and give it like an ease in so it can cushion back. Right. Okay, let's get rid of that one so it has a bit more cushion and make sure that has somewhere to go so it isn't still.
Wow. Wow.
So now we've got this little overshoot in here just on the up and down.
Wow.
Maybe the overshoot's a bit much. So I'm just going to bring all of these keys up a bit.
Wow.
I've got a little hotkey for scaling.
I didn't feel sick.
Yeah, and that gives us more distance to go for this compression here, which I think is cool. So yeah, as I said, I'm just cleaning up these ups and downs first. That's kind of my thought process on it. Cool, let's snap this up a bit.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
I think these can lead more. I think the eyebrows can lead the head movement down. They're kind of delayed at the moment, so I'm just going to lead that more, maybe even more than that. Let's try something like this.
I didn't feel sick.
So you can have that
I didn't feel sick. Wow.
start to come down
Wow. I didn't feel
a bit earlier, which you can see there. I think it still feels a bit slow, maybe. So let's snap this up a little bit.
I didn't feel sick.
And maybe we can do a little overshoot in here. Maybe. Well, maybe we generally want to come lower. I think generally to see this compression, I think it would be good to come a bit lower. Cool. Let's do that.
I didn't feel sick at all. Sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
I think we're getting a bit confused with some of this. I think we've got too much information here. So I'm just going to delete some of these keys.
Feel sick.
So he finishes his line here, and I think I want to lead with the eye mask opening up for this part. So I'm going to lead with the eye mask opening up. And let me keep this easing. So in here already, didn't feel sick. Oh, and then, you know, he can open up before he turns. So let's try that out. Maybe it doesn't need to be quite as much. But we'll keep it going upwards on both of these channels because that's what we want to do.
At all. Not. Didn't feel sick at all. Not. I didn't feel sick at all. Sick.
I think maybe what could work is if we do like a little up and then hold. So let's try that. Like, so we go up and then we start to do it and then we pop up for this little overshoot in here. So let's figure that out. As I say, I'm just experimenting with the ups and downs, which is my personal kind of workflow for this sort of stuff. At all. Okay, so I think I want a little overshoot and then we can settle all of this. So let's do that. Just gonna use the smooth keys. I like using that. And we can make this settle a bit bigger, just so that it reads. Don't need some of these keys, getting a bit confusing. Cool, so let's look at this.
At all. Not. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick
So we're gonna have a little moment in here where his eyes
at all. I didn't feel sick.
start to widen. His whole eye mask is gonna start to widen as he's thinking, and then it will pop up. I think the hold can be a bit shorter and we can lead with the eyebrows though. I think that'd be cool. So let's try that.
At all. Not feel sick at all. Sick at all. Sick
So maybe we can have it a bit earlier if anything.
at all. No, I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
So there's going to be a little bit of
At
moment
all.
of thinking in
Feel
there
sick at all.
where it
Sick
loosens
at
a little
all.
bit.
Sick at all.
And then we get this overshoot and settle in here. So I think I'm maybe going to do a little bit of hang time here. Ease ins and outs. And then we'll come back and settle. Any questions about why I'm doing it this way or anything like that? Hopefully it's clear, but if not, feel free to ask.
At all. Sick at all.
So I think I want this overshoot to be bigger in general. So I think I'm just going to pop these guys up a bit more. That has broken the hell out of it, hasn't it? So let's not do that. Let's grab one of these maybe. And we can do it a little bit like this. Cool. And this can be a bit softer and take a bit longer. Cool.
At all. Not feel sick at all. No, I didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all.
I think it's a bit early, so I'm going to delay it for him.
At all. Not feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Sick at all.
And now I think the overshoot's too much, so let's turn it down.
At all. Not feel sick at all.
Cool. So going to this next move. Eyebrows on a layer. No, I'm just using the ups and downs. So this is just on the base anim. I'm literally just animating the ups and downs right now. And then I'm going to kind of use that information from the ups and downs to do some transitions and stuff. Hopefully it will make sense in a second. But I like to just build in the general ups and downs of the main movers of the brows. That's just personal preference. And hopefully it'll make sense why I do that, because I end up doing some like copy curves and different things in a minute. Okay. Not in here. It might be a bit fast. So let's maybe do a bit of a favor on each side. And then we can scoop into here. It looks like I'm doing like an extra anticipate in here, which is cool. But I think if I am doing that, I want this to be a bit softer. So that we keep the movement going downwards a little bit more. Cool. We can ease these guys in a little bit. I've got this issue with the graph header. Let's see if this fixes it. Cool. So
Once.
okay, now we got a cool overshoot
Wow.
bit in here as well.
I
Cool,
didn't feel
look at
sick
that.
at all. Not once. Not once.
Cool. So let's look at it. We're easing out with the brows. I'm also animating the brows kind of together right now, and eventually I'm going to do a little bit of breakup on them to make it feel a bit more organic and broken up and nice. So that's to be in a future pass, but right now for this very first pass, it's all about just the ups and downs for me. That's what I like to do. Do you have your ref open or are you fully done with it? I don't have it open right now. I like to check back to it every once in a while, but for this instance, I'm just focusing on like compression and release for different moments in the eye mask. And that's basically just the ups and downs of the browser right now is what I'm using to do that. I will go on to, you know, a bit more in depth in a second, but I don't particularly use too much reference because I like to view things a bit more graphically when I get to this kind of stage. So as you've kind of seen, if you've watched the previous streams on this shot where I've slowly been working my way through, I use the reference more at the start, and now that we're getting through it, I'm using reference less and less. Graphic shapes, pogs, exactly. You know all about them graphic shapes. Cool. So this is going to just ease up and continue and be soft into the ending, I think.
Wow. I didn't
So
feel
this is
sick
just the ups
at
and downs
all.
of the browse.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And you might question why I spent so much time just cleaning up these curves. And the reason is because I'm going to copy these curves and I'm going to start placing them places. So we've got rotate Z here. So let's see what happens if I place this on rotate Z.
At all.
Let's make sure that when we go up, the brows are opening outwards. I think they are.
Not once.
So now when we go down for free, just from that copy paste, we get a little bit, it's a bit too small. So I'm going to scale the curve up. See if it works. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to get a little bit of free compression in here. Let me stick that. Something like this.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And what I'm going to do with that information is also offset that a frame. Boom. That's 2 frames. Offset that 1 frame.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So you can't really see it. It's a subtle little thing, but basically it's adding a bit of breakup. So when it goes down, we get a little bit of overshoots and stuff in the Z. Just a quick thing. But what I also do with that curve is I'm going to snap buffer so I know where I'm at for this, but I'm just going to paste it on here as well. So the idea is it's hella broken. Let me scale it down. So the idea is when the eyebrows go up, they go out, right? Because the X on the inside is going in and out depending on how high it is, because that's what that curve is describing.
Not once. Wow. I didn't.
So now, like here, when it goes down, the inner eyebrows are going in, right? And then I'm going to offset that a frame as well.
Feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So we're getting, for free, we're getting a lot of nice
wow. I didn't
break
feel
up in
sick
there.
At all. Not once.
And we're going to start to figure out what we're leading and following with in a minute. I'm going to take these curves and use it for the Z as well, because I think that would be cool. Let's see if it's doing what I want it to do. I'm not sure if that's enough Z to really see it. Let me scale up the curve. Yeah, so the down, it compresses inwards. Let's see if that's doing that. As I say, I've not used this rig, so this is a bit experimental with which controls to use. Yeah, so when the eyebrows compress down and push inwards, they're going to bend up on themselves a little bit. So that's what I'm going for here. Let me go for something like this.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So we get a little bit of that connectivity for free. It's only a subtle thing. The ups and downs of the inner brows, I'm going to focus on in a minute, because I'm going to start leading and following with different parts of the brows for the different transitions. But for now, I just want that information to be there. I'm going to take this up and down curve that I already had as well, and I'm going to stick it on the middle brows. I'm going to snap these as well, just to make sure that I have everything on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so you start to get some funny shapes when you do this.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So yeah, so we just so that we have a little bit of information with the compressions and such. And then we're slowly going to layer in more and more into this.
I didn't feel sick
Evil Leo, exactly.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So I can start experimenting with some of this, like,
oh, not once. Wow.
Like maybe I want to take this curve on the middle brows and put them on the ins and outs as well, like I have with the other one, with the inner brows.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So let's see where we end up with the middle brow, because I wanted specific things. Yeah, so that's going out. That's kind of what I want. But I think I'll make sure that these are starting in good positions. Cool. Whoops. So that was just a quick layered approach to get, you know, a little bit of fleshiness in the brows. And now what I'm going to do is start breaking up what's leading and what's following for each move in particular.
I didn't feel sick at all.
But that quick move has just given us like base information which we can play with now. I'm boiling already, so I'm going to take off my jumper. My hair's mental, that's why the hat's on. Right, so let's have a look at it then, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a different layout. This one here. We're going to zoom in on the face because we're looking at the eye mask still. And what I'm also going to do is make a camera attached to Leo's face here. So let's make a camera. If you don't know, you can press Ctrl-Shift-C and it will duplicate your camera. So now purse 1 is exactly where purse was. So I'll call this face cam or something. Let me select it. I think I'm going to make the focal length longer as well because it gets a bit distorted when it's like this. And then I'm going to select the head control and then the camera. I need to use the outline for that. And I'm going to constrain it. Which I need to go into animation for. Cool. So now we have a camera which is following this. So we can start to see, you can see that information that we added with the layering, with the slight arcs that it's adding and stuff.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
But what we're going to do is we're going to go through each move with the brows and we're going to start to think about what's leading, what's following, and how to break up and get lots of nice detail in that.
Wow.
So right now all the pieces kind of move together. I think what would be cool is if the middle brows led through this section. And maybe to help with that, we can untense them as well. So maybe we can do it a bit more on this first frame so it doesn't feel too isolated. So I'm looking at both camera angles. I'm going to hold up. I'm using a lot of scale keys shortcuts. What I'm basically doing is holding up the up position of those middles for a little bit. And then they can come back down. Wow. So the middle brows have just led the movement, basically.
Wow.
But we still preserve all the information we had before. I've just tweaked the keys that I tweaked. So there you go. There's a little bit of lead and follow in there. And maybe we can even drag these middle brows a little bit. Right, so we can have them coming down, dragging. One thing with brows is you want them to feel connected so that that line feels like it connects together. So make sure that isn't broken up there. But maybe we can drag the middle brows a little bit and then have them overshoot and eventually settle back. Let's see how that looks. Wow. So we kind of ripple out. Subtle little thing. We'll get onto the eyes in a minute. I just like to do the brows first personally. Alright, what's the next move then? So I'm going to do a lead and follow, and then we'll do an asymmetry pass on the brows as well, because right now they're kind of doing the same thing. So let's go to here and look at the next move and think about what's leading, what's following.
I didn't feel sick at all.
So we got this bit where we tense down for I didn't feel sick. So let's have a look at that one. So I think for this one I want the middle brows to lead. Right now we just kind of come down evenly. I think it would be cool if these middle brows led more. So I'm going to make him lead. I can look at this camera and go on here. So I can make him lead and then arc back around. So let's look at this. And I'll check the curves in a minute as well. So that makes sense. Let's have a look at it. Got a lot of stuff going on screen now.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't.
So right now it feels like they're hitting and then going down again, which is a bit weird. So I need to look at that. I think that's to do with this. I think that's to do with them coming back up and then settling, which is a bit weird. So maybe we can hold the down for a bit longer. And then we can have it ease into this top position here. Cool.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't.
Cool. I'm going to look at the X as well. Eyebrow arc, exactly. That's what we're going for. That key's looking a bit funky. So I'm just going to make sure that those eyebrows arc in on themselves and then settle back. Cool.
I didn't feel sick. 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 I didn't feel.
I feel like maybe the brows in general lead a bit much now. So I'm just going to delay the whole brows, I think. So everything here can be delayed a frame. We can use like those.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
So now the eyebrows feel like they lead the motion a bit more because they felt like they were leading a bit too much then and it felt a bit detached.
I didn't feel sick. 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 I didn't feel sick.
But if you look at this, it's quite
it's
nice. We've got something leading, which is cool.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't.
Cool. So we got a little bit of lead in the eyebrows. Nice.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
Cool. So let's look at the next move. We've chose what's leading in this move, so that's all good. I mean, maybe we could do some delay on the upper eyebrows in here or something. So let's look at this. In the mid eyebrows, I mean. This has up and down info already, so maybe I can just delay it a frame.
I didn't feel. I didn't feel. I didn't feel sick.
Yeah, so now it ripples out from the point that's leading.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
Cool. Right, let's look at the next move. So we have this mini release where he releases for a second. And then we have that big adult overshoot and settle in here.
Feel
Cool.
sick at all. Feel sick at all. Feel sick at all.
So I think this can be a bit softer in here. We've got a lot of information in here to play with. I think what I'll do is I'll just smooth it out using smooth on animate just because I know that's going to soften it a bit.
Feel sick at all. Feel sick at all. Feel sick at all. Sick at all. Feel sick at all. Feel sick at all.
Right. So I think again what I want to do for this big pull up is to pull up with the middle brows. So maybe somewhere in here we can start to lead with that. And with these guys as well. So let it pulls from that middle point. Yeah. I'm just going to find a nice shape for this lead. Cool. So these two are leading right now. We can start to ease out into this lead on this frame. And then maybe I can continue this lead through these frames. I'm going to have to connect up the middles. They feel a bit broken right now. This one we can hold. So we're holding it, a little bit of hang time. And then over a few frames, let's say over 3 frames or something. 1, 2. Let's do it on 2s. We can have this as an ease into that next position.
At all. Feel sick 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 at all.
So there you go. So that one now has something leading it. So instead of it all moving as one piece, I mean it is connected still, but we've got a little bit of nice break up in there. And maybe we can, again, delay the middle brows. So let's look at that. Let's frame through. They're kind of nicely delayed here. So on this frame, for example, we can delay the middle brows a touch, tiny little bit. And then they can do a tiny little overshoot up. So let's look at the curves real quick. Tiny little overshoot up. And then they're going to settle back down again. I'll put that on 2s. Cool. So let me settle this. So it opens up from that middle and ripples outwards. Might feel a bit too whooshy, so I might scale down that overshoot and blend it forward so it doesn't feel as attached. Cool, so let's look at the next move. Let's find the keys where it starts to move. Let's say from here. Okay, we've got like 2 moves in here. We're compressing down, so I think leading with the inside makes sense for compressing down a lot of the time. So we'll do a similar thing to what we did before. Get a couple frames. We can start to lead these guys down. Let me look at this Y curve and make sure that I'm doing nice things with it. Hey, thanks for the follow, dude. Demon Alpha 92. Let's go. So yeah, doing a little mini arc on the bottom of this. Might feel a bit much. I might want it a frame earlier. I think it's too late right now for that lead. And I think we're maybe going too far down on this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the bottom position and I'm going to use the push-pull slider here and just tone that down a bit. So now we have a nice little scoop lead with the inner brows. And what do you think we're going to lead with for the next move, huh? You probably guessed it. It's going to be the middle brows and these little boys here. So let's... maybe this frame we can start to lead up. I think this one needs to lead a bit more to catch up. Cool, so we're leading with these guys. Let's keep it leading. I'm just going to blend to infinite and continue the translation I was already doing. This frame we can hang at the top for a little bit and then we can start to settle back over a few frames. So let's put it on 2s and we can cushion in over a few frames back to the position that we were at. Let's see how that looks. So I think right now we have too much change of shape between the overshoot pose here and this one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all of the keys until it starts to compress again, so about here. And I'm just going to scale those back so that the shape change isn't quite as much. Cool, so now I need to break up that ending part as well. Cool, so let's have a look at the inners. So maybe in here we want them to be more compressed. Let's find a nice little compressed pose. And then maybe over these frames in here, we can get them down into that. So we get a little compression on this blank. Okay, and then let's just pop them back on 1 frame right now. So let's give it a few frames. Put that on 2s quickly, and then have it ease in. Cool.
Not
So we've done a
once.
little breakup
Not
pass on the brows.
once.
Let's have a look at it.
Not once.
Might be a bit too broken up in areas, but that's
Wow.
fine for now. We can
I
tighten
didn't
things
feel
up.
sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I think maybe this ending here, especially the rotate Z, is a bit much. So let's tone that back. Maybe we can tighten this curve up a little bit. Just going to hold the eases and the ease outs.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool. A little bit
I didn't feel
flicky
sick
on a couple of these.
sick at all.
I feel like we can snap up some of these eyebrow moves. Like we can get rid of this frame, for example, and just have it happen a bit earlier.
At all. At all. Sick at all. Sick
But I think now that leads too much, so maybe we can have the ease out, take a bit longer.
at all. At all. Not once.
Eyebrows can be quite snappy.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. I think that looks decent. I'm going to look at it in camera view quickly and have a quick look at some curves and clean it all up.
I didn't feel
And then
sick
I'm going to do
at
some
all.
offsets to
Not
break up
once.
which eyebrows is leading, which eyebrows following. Okay, let me make sure that these curves are working nicely. What's happening here? Do I need that? Doesn't look like it.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool.
Not once.
I'm going to tighten up this curve a tiny bit. Cool. I basically just held the ease ins and ease outs so the transitions between them there were a bit longer. So what I'm doing is I'm setting a key, scaling it back with a hotkey, and now that's a harder ease out and a quicker transition between the ins and the outs.
Wow. I didn't
So that's
feel
when I'm
sick
doing
at
that
all.
quick
Not
flick of the
once.
wrist movement
Wow.
stuff. That's
I didn't feel sick
that's
at
the
all.
specifics of
Not
what I'm doing.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't
Cool.
feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up a version and I'm going to start offsetting little bits and pieces so that the eyebrows don't move up exactly framed together. They're going to, one of them's going to lead each movement slightly. So I think we're pulling his head in Z this way. So I think we want to lead with the right screen right eyebrow a little bit. So I'm going to grab those keys and I'm going to use time offsetter in Animbot, which allows me to do half frame offsets, which are super useful. So if I do a half frame offset and lead half a frame, let's see what's happened. So now this is slightly leading the other one.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
But now I need to be careful that the inner brows stay connected. So I'm going to do a quick pass to make sure that the inner brows, like if you drew a line between the inner brows, it makes sense.
Wow. Wow.
But just by doing that slight change, we have half a frame of lead on that screen right eyebrow to the screen left eyebrow.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So we get a nice little ripple through the brows for that move, for example.
I didn't feel,
So let's lead with the other eyebrow for the next move, right?
I didn't feel,
So let me grab these keys. I'm going to lead half a frame with the time offsetter again.
I didn't,
So now this one very slightly starts to lead. You see that frame there, you can see it very slightly start to lead the other side.
I didn't feel,
And there's a bit in the middle where maybe this could be a bit lower so it doesn't feel as dragged. But I still want a little bit of that breakup. I still want it to feel connected and break up. That's the hard part of animation, of more polishy stuff. It's keeping things feeling connected and breaking them up.
wow. I didn't feel,
But there you go, that half frame has made quite a big difference
I
in
didn't
my
feel
eyes.
sick at all.
So now we're opening up to this right side, so I think I'm going to lead with
At all.
this right eyebrow by half a frame. So let's do that. Time offset
Sick
half a frame
at
as well.
all. Sick.
So for this frame, for example, maybe I want to start pulling this just to connect it, because I don't want it to feel too disconnected.
Sick at all. Feel sick at all. Not once. Feel sick at all. Not sick at all. Not
I think I want to lead with this eyebrow again for this section. So let me grab these keys. So maybe up till here, we can lead with this eyebrow by half a frame. Cool.
At all. Not once at all.
So you can see this one quite drastically.
Not once at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick.
But I don't
at
mind
all.
it too much.
Not once. Oh, not
So let's do a half frame lead for this side as we open up this way. So maybe through to about here. And I think before I forget my place, I'm going to start leading the other eyebrow for that end part. Cool.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So let's double check what that half frame did to this area, for example. I'm going to make sure that those middles feel connected. I don't want them to be too broken up. Cool.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
But
Wow.
now we've got decently
I didn't feel
fleshy,
sick
nice
at all.
eyebrows.
Not once.
And that was a decently quick
Wow.
pass, you know. I spent
I
like
didn't feel sick at all.
20 minutes, 30 minutes doing that.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't feel
So I
sick
think that worked
at
pretty
all.
nicely.
Not
If anyone
once.
has any questions
Wow.
about what I
I
just
didn't
did for
feel
that
sick
eyebrow
at
pass,
all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at
go
all.
ahead and ask. Not bad at all. Thanks,
once.
Adam.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So there might be some
Sick
shapes that I want to push, but what I could do is say I want to push them in a minute. Say I wanted this to be like more open. That's something I might then do on a layer. Because I've got all of the breakup information on the base layer, maybe if I want to just have the shape change, I'll do that on a layer.
Not once.
So if I want
Wow.
specific shape changes to
feel sick
happen,
at
or if I
all.
want certain
Not
poses
once.
to
Wow.
be
I didn't
more
feel sick
distinct
at
or
all.
something,
Not once.
then
Wow.
that's when I'd bring in a
I didn't feel
layer
sick
and do that.
at
But for
all.
now,
Not once.
for this first face pass, very happy with that. That's fine. So let's look at
Wow.
the eyes. I'll save up a version. We can have a look at the eyes. I'll have a sip of water. Yeah, so for anyone that's just joined, we've just done a quick
Wow.
eyebrow pass.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And
Wow.
now I'm going to move on to the
I
eyes.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So let's think about the spacing in here. And I think I'm going to ease out and I'm going to have the pupils drag a little bit as well as that opens. And maybe we can make this a bit more graphic during this opening frame. So let's have a look at these. Maybe want his insides to be opening a bit more. I think that'll look nicer. So I kind of want this to overshoot as well. So we're getting to this point. And I think I want it to be big open pose for this wow. And then it can settle back over a few frames. We also have scale keys on here, but I'm going to do a little trick with that in a minute. So we overshoot, and then we're going to be settling back. Okay, big overshoot, and then we're going to settle back to this. So I'm going to ease into this one over a few frames using animate.
Wow. Wow.
So maybe I can hold back on this overshoot frame, and then we can make this a bit softer.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So we get a little
Wow.
bit of nice breakup in there.
I didn't feel. Wow. Wow.
Cool. So we've got an eye dart here, but the eyes aren't connected to it right now. So what I'm going to do is connect that up. There's a little bit of connection just because the rig itself gives you a bit of free connection. Like you can see the eye shapes moving a little bit for that. But I'm going to plus that a little bit. I'm going to grab the eyelids. I'm going to hold down Alt and press the directions that I want to move into down and across. If you didn't know, if you hold down Alt and press the arrow keys, you get a little nudge tool. So now when the eye dart moves, the eye lids kind of move with it a little bit, and that's what I'm going for here. So we can hold that here on the eyelid, on the X of the eyelid at least. And I mean, we can blend out of it during a bigger move, so that's fine.
I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't. Wow. I didn't feel. Wow.
Maybe a half blink in here would be cool.
Wow.
During this transition, I think that would be cool. So I'm gonna try a little half blink. So what am I going to do for that? I'm just going to have these come down.
I didn't feel sick. Oh, I didn't feel.
I don't want it to open quite as much as we have it here. I think we can have it a bit more closed, and then maybe we can ease back into this. I'm just looking at this Y curve here, which is it's a bit convoluted to see all of that, but
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't feel sick.
So maybe we can involve the bottom lids a little bit for this half blink.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
I also kind of want to, for this move,
Wow.
so I'm going to move on from that move for a second. For this move, where we have the eye dart, I want his eyes to start to open here because he's kind of had his speaking part and now he's thinking. And now he's starting to kind of be like, wow, amazed by it. Like, actually, wow, at all. It's a little bit of an acting choice. I'm leading with the facial change before the change of the body. So the eyebrow's already leading here as well, so that was kind of an intentional choice I made earlier on. Okay, so let's push this back and keep it going a little bit.
I didn't feel sick. Sick at all. Feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. Feel sick at all. At all.
No, I really don't like this at all pose, so I'm gonna find a frame in here to work towards. So let's make this nice big-eyed surprised face. I want the whites to be fully visible here. And this is getting a bit lumpy in here, so I'm gonna do some minor control changes in here. I should really add some of these minor controls to the picker because I seem to be using them quite a bit. So he's amazed by this, which is good. Okay, so how are we going to get in and out of this? Where's the frame? It's this frame. So I'm going to hold that for a while until we start to compress in here. Cool. So we get into it here. So let's get into it nice and early.
At all. Not at all.
The fact that you can see his eyeball moving there. The screen left eye is fine, but the screen right eye is going a bit nuts through all of this. So I'm going to have to do a pass on that in a second.
I didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick.
So I think I want to do an overshoot in here. So let's open him up even wider. I need to check where that eye line is going because it's all over the place right now. So I've had that overshoot and now I'm going to settle back for a few frames. So let's ease these in. Cool.
At all. Not sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
Okay, let's see what's happening with these eyes because they're absolutely doing my nine. So like here, for example, I think I'm just going to have to track it on once. I think it's partly because of the space it's in, because it's in like headspace and stuff. It's just going a bit nuts for me. Feels a bit wonky-eyed as well, so I'm going to bring his eyes in a bit through this transition. So let's hold that until I feel comfortable to change it, which might be somewhere in there.
Wow.
Cool.
Feel sick at all. Not feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at
So I feel like the bottom eyelids you can feel the overshooting compression, but the top eyelids you can't, so I need to push that more. So let's push it. Let's look at the Y curve. It's going a bit nuts. Not really sure what's this curve and why it's going. That's the eyelid. That's the eye ring. Sorry. Just want to make sure it's going in the right direction.
sick at all. Sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Feel sick at all.
Big fan of the Pickett image of the face. Oh my god. Yeah. Very appealing, huh? Let me undo that. The reason that it looks like that is because I spread some bits around just so that I had more space for like high density areas like the mouth controls and, and different things.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
Okay, so we've got that transition sort of working. I feel like some of these curves are a bit disgusting, but let's just clean them up.
At all. Didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. Not at all.
Okay, so we're onto this transition now. We've got some flat ass curves in here, which we'll have to look at some point. So we can start to ease out here.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick.
I feel like this leads a bit too early. So I'm gonna delay it a slight frame. And I think the bottom lids are doing too much compared to the top lids. So let's scale this down.
At all. Not didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay.
At all. Not once.
So I'm actually using the blink controllers for some of this, and I don't want to. I was just using it to test them out. But personally, I like to do it all manually. So let me undo that.
Once. Wow.
So I'm going to have to add a
I didn't
blink
feel
in there
sick
myself
at
in a
all.
second.
Not once.
Okay, so
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
one thing that I could be doing that would save me time is in Stereo Library, the guys that made the rig made some stretch poses and some squash poses, which would be super useful. So let's look at it. Stretch, here you go. So if I blend to this stretch pose, it's going to open him up nicely. Cool. Which is kind of what we want. For this overshoot in here. Cool. So let's try that. You said on Twitter to say hi. So hi. How you doing, Luke? We're getting through this shot slowly but surely. Doing some facial animation today, which is my favorite part personally.
Once.
So I want to add a blink in here. So I'm going to take a compressed pose from over here and chuck it in.
Once.
I think maybe we'll do it the frame earlier, which is this one, I think. We can do it on this one. Then we can ease out hard on this one. And we can do a blink in here. So we have a frame where the blink touches, and then we're going to have a frame where the blink pushes itself down a bit. So I have a little compression frame. And then we can open up again. Cool, and then we can ease into some kind of top position in here for the last few frames. Cool.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So looking at this, I think I'm compressing this cheek a bit too high at this point. It's a bit too asymmetrical for me. So let's grab some of these, lower it a touch, just a little bit.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool. So we did a quick eye pass there.
Not once. Wow.
And now I can start to break things up and make things nice.
Once.
Doing well, not bad. Good, good, good. Right.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So
I didn't feel sick.
we have an eye dart in here that isn't yet connected as much as I'd quite like it to. So I'm going to grab the eyelids again, and on that one frame, I'm going to nudge using the Alt and arrow keys. And now we've got a little bit of connectivity in there. I think for the X especially, I want to hold that for this frame. And then, you know, it can kind of do what I want at this point because it's going a bit nuts.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay, so the connection between the eyes and the brows, something that I like to do is grab the ups and downs from the brows. We've got some dodgy curves in here, which I'm going to have to clean up. Boom. What's going on there? That's a nutty curve. Look at that. Oh, it's this one. Boom. Okay. It might, if that's on ones, that's fine. All right, I'll clean it up like that. Let me grab the ups and downs of this. I'm going to copy these curves and I'm going to paste them onto the scale of the X and the Y on the eyes. And hopefully it'll make sense why I'm doing that.
Wow.
This is why I'm doing it.
At all. Not once.
So that when the eyes get bigger, I want them to get thinner so that they somewhat maintain volume. Also, I should be scaling them together. So I flip that. I have a hotkey for flipping curves. So I'm going to scale this down.
Oh, I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
But now what should be happening, let me check, for overshoots like this, we're growing a little bit. But we are starting from a weird position, so I want to clean that up. I want this to move around the default more, and this to move around the default more. It's because it paced from the start position, which was a compressed position. Wow. It kind of offset everything from there.
At all. Not once.
So, but I don't want that to be one for one, so I'm just going to offset a frame. I'm going to stick that on normal tangents. Offsetting by half a frame in Animbot messes up your tangents, so that's why they're all over the place right now.
At all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all.
So I feel like the bottom lids here lead a bit too much. So I'm just going to bring them back. How are we going to get around this, huh? It might be okay.
Not sick at all. Sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Okay, cool. So we got that. That was a free bit of information. What other free bits of information we get? I'm going to take the ups and downs of the top eyelids and I'm going to put them on the scale of the eyes. Pupil scale and iris scale. Boom, boom.
I didn't feel sick at all.
So now when he opens wider, I'm going to have to flip this curve so it does what I want it to do.
Oh, not
and also I'm going to have to place it somewhere that it makes sense.
once. Wow.
So the idea is, look, the wider the eyes are, the smaller the pupils are, and the more compressed the eyes are, the opposite of that. Good. And I'm also going to offset it a frame, or maybe half a frame. So I'll use Animbot again. What is this tool even called? Time offsetter tool. If you use the first one, time offset, it will figure out what half a frame offset is, which is amazing in my opinion. So yeah, as it's opening, they're getting thinner like this. So you can see. Cool.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Subtle little thing, but for some of these moves, you might be able to see
a
little bit of growing and shrinking in there, which just adds a little bit. So for example, on this blink, the blink come up and the pupils are big, and then they have a little bit of compression in here where the light comes into the eye and the pupils shrink.
Wow. I didn't feel sick
quick
at all.
trick
Not
I use.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. At all. Not once.
How's this? This not too bad actually, the shape change.
Once. Wow.
So, same thing that we just did with the eyes. You can use motion builder for work. Yeah, that would be difficult for me, I think. Same thing. I don't actually have a controller yet in my picker that selects just each of the eyes. So I'm just gonna, maybe I'll go into perspective real quick. This isn't perspective, that's the face cam. Oh, this is perspective. Okay. So I'm just gonna go into perspective and I'm gonna try and make a picker that selects just one eye. Because I'm gonna start offsetting the eyes just like I did with the brows earlier. So I'm gonna deselect all of these and make a controller up here. I don't know why it's so wide. Let's calm that down. So I'll make that blue. So this one selects all of these eyes. I have a hotkey already which selects the opposite. So I'm going to make a button which selects all of these on this side. Whoops. Undo change width. And then I'll change the width of this one. Cool. So then I'll make this one red. And I'll save up my picker. So now I can select either of the eyes really easily. Which is a lifesaver. This is going to get confusing because I have a bazillion folders. Anim, rigs, Leo, picker, Leo face picker. There you go. Right, so now that we've got this, I'll go back to my other camera view because this is how I prefer to work. We're on perspective right now, so let's go back to shot cam. So just like we led with the right eyebrow half a frame in here, I'm going to lead with the eye for half a frame in here as well, just to break it up. Boom. So now we get a little bit of breakup, right? And this eye starts to lead.
Wow. 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 Wow.
You see that? Subtle, but makes a difference. His pupils are huge in here as well. I might maybe turn that down a little bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So
Wow.
where else do we lead with the brows? So maybe for this half blink in here, I can lead this side a tiny bit.
I didn't feel sick. Feel sick.
So let's lead this one half a frame forward with the time offset tool.
I didn't.
So now this starts to open a little bit earlier. It's very subtle.
I didn't feel sick at all.
And again,
Didn't feel sick.
this right eyebrow is leading very slightly in here. So I want that eye open to lead very slightly as well.
Feel sick
So let me grab all of these curves in here, up to about here, that's fine. And then I'm going to time offset half a frame this way. Boom.
Feel sick at all. Feel sick.
So this one's very subtly leading a bit more now.
At all. Not once. At all.
And same again, this eye's leading with the brow on this side, very slightly in here. So I'm going to lead with the eye on this side, very slightly as well. For this part. Cool. And then I'm going to lead this eye for the next part, where we open up. And until this point. Cool. So let's lead that. But then I want to lead, again, I want to lead this eye for the ending, because this side is where we're kind of blinking towards. So let's see how that worked. So yeah, we get a slight bit of difference in here. I want to feel the connection of the pupils during the blinks. So the blink pushes down the pupils a bit. And I also want to feel the connection of the top of the pupil following the top of the eye mask, sorry, the eye shape following in here. One thing I want to do is make this a bit of a harder ease out. Thanks for the follow, dude. I'm going to make this ease out for this blink a bit harder on both eyes, just because I think it'll be better. Why is that not working? There you go.
Wow. Once. Wow. Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not
Where did I
once.
get the audio clip for this? I was randomly searching for something. And I used the tool. There's a cool website. I'll show you quickly. There's the tool. It's called Yarn. I think Jean-Denis Haas showed it off in a video. But basically, if I just search something like, I think I just searched like wow or something. And it'll come up with random clips with wow in it. You know? I mean, these just say wow a load of times, for example.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. My biggest...
So it's a pretty cool tool for finding audio stuff if you have something specific. So, I don't know, you piece of cake, let's say. Does it have anything for that? That might be a bit specific. But they're talking about cake. Piece of cake, piece of cake. Here you go. This is a pretty cool tool. I'll post it in chat for you guys to experiment with.
Piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake.
So I randomly searched some stuff, and then I think I just went into the relateds and found this random clip. And it sounded like someone around this age, at least to my ear. So I said stuff it, and okay, I accidentally sent an actual clip. That was dumb. Let me send the actual website. Oh, I think I closed it now. That's not the website. You just got the link to the exact piece of cake clip that I was doing. Here's the actual website. So it's a pretty useful tool really for finding audio.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I think his pupils get a bit big at times. So what I'm going to do is move it down overall a bit. And then maybe some of these peaks are just a bit big. I can make this auto again now after I've offset it. Maybe not. We'll scale to average on this. I swear there's a scale to average. Maybe it's this one. Scale from average. Control Alt middle click on this one. Whoa, no, that's not right. Control middle click. That's doing some weird stuff actually. We're not going to touch that. I'm just going to scale it down and then move it.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Sick at all. At all.
I think I want this eye shape to feel a bit clearer. So I'm just going to make this a bit wider so that the whites of the eyes are a bit clearer through this part. So let me move these down. And then we'll see what the hell is going on here. Yeah, let's just go like that. Getting a bit weird tangents going on from those half frame offsets.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Yo, rated. Thank you, Ginger VFX. How you doing, dude?
I didn't feel sick at
I'm
all.
doing some facial animation on this little test today
Wow.
for all the new
I didn't
viewers.
feel sick at all.
We've just done a pass on the
Once.
eyebrows and now the
Wow.
eyes.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So I'm going to go on to lip sync in a second.
Not once.
I'm trying to think if I have any other things that I would do. We can move the eyes around, which is quite funny.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all.
Maybe this goes down a bit too much for me. We'll tone this down a bit. I'm just going to grab all of these and push pull a little bit.
Not once. I didn't feel sick at all.
Especially given that this is supposed to be a bit lower, actually, because we're opening up to that side of the face. So let's try that. Let's try and make this a bit bigger. We can go somewhere in the middle.
Not once.
Hey, buddy.
Wow.
Can't see which slider Animbot you use for offset scaling your keys. Yeah, so in Animbot, there's one called Time Offsetter. It's this one here. What it actually does is it offsets keys without moving them, which is super useful. And it also has, if I change this to this, the first one here is actually half a frame. So offsetting by half a frame is really awkward because you end up with keys on half frames. But because this doesn't actually move the keys, it just basically bakes it figures out what half a frame difference would be and then changes the curve to that. You can offset with half frames, so I've been using that quite a lot. I do keep this on ease in out, and then what I do is I use the hotkey, which is holding down Alt and Control, and then I click on, you know, half frame this way, or a frame or 2 frame. I do that kind of thing, right? Hopefully that's useful. Used to it now. Story is super useful. Maya feels like home for me. Yeah, I've only had I mean, I've done like little 2D stuff in Photoshop and Flash and different things, but for 3D, I've only ever really used Maya. I feel like if I tried Blender, I'd be completely lost, especially because I'm so reliant on tools, as you guys can probably tell.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool. So let's go on to lip sync. I'm going to save up a version. So once I've done lip sync, we're going to start connecting the eye mask to the lip sync, and then the face fleshiness and a bunch of other stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a lot to do. So I quite like to do lip sync by just focusing on the jaw up and down first. So I think at this point he'd be compressed because he'd be closed for the W shape. Wow. And then it would open. So I think this would be more starting to come out at this point. Wow. Yeah, so at this point we're going to be very open. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So maybe at this point we're going to start to come back to being closed, and then we'll settle somewhere in the middle.
Wow. 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 I didn't. Wow.
I feel like there's going to be a breath in here. So maybe we can do a little open in here. And settle back a little bit. This can be a little ease out, and then big open for the eye. I didn't. Top Turek. I always put my fist on my jaw. I didn't. And think about how it's opening and closing, and I say it out loud. So I didn't. So it's kind of like da-da-da. So we'll open it on 1 frame. We're starting to close a bit. I'm going to try and do it all in 1 open. And then we'll, for the T, which is about here, we're going to be closed again. So we'll say what we're going to here. So let's try that.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick.
So I'm not worried about the shapes right now. This is just the open and closed. So there's an F in here, and an F is a very closed shape. So we're going to... And then we can do slight ease out and then pop open for feel. Feel. And then we're at an S again here, which S is pretty closed. So let's go somewhere in here. Maybe we can do something like this.
Feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
I want this to bias this side because I want that S to read when we get to it. And then this can pop open with this. So sick. Don't want it to be too big. So the quicker you speak, the less articulated your shapes. If I speak really slowly, my lip sync is very articulated and the shapes are very clear. Whereas the quicker you speak, the less change of shape you get. So the less the jaw is going to open for quicker pieces of text, and the more it's going to open for slower pieces of text. But then also the volume matters, because if I speak louder, I'm going to open more, and if I speak quieter, I'm going to open less. There's a little trick which I'm thinking about at the same time. So this might be too much right now. And I want this K to read, which is going to be a closed shape. So let's get a closed shape in here. Maybe I'll just tighten this curve up a little bit and favor each side. So I want this to have a little bit of a settle back during this part. And then the at we can start to open up. Ow. I feel like you can do at all in 1 movement. Ow.
At all.
Ow. So let's try do it in one movement. Cool. I'm just going to tighten up this curve a bit. So this is just a rough estimation, and then I'll start doing shapes and I'll tweak with this. But
I didn't feel sick at all. Sick at all.
At all. At all. Maybe there needs to be more articulation there, but we'll see.
I didn't feel sick at all. Oh,
So we're going to keep it closed for this part. I'm going to ease out for when we get to here. So, knot. We're going to open up for knot. And at this point, we're going to be back down. And favor back. Once is going to be a big hold down. Just once. Like that. So let's ping it open. Maybe the top position can be here, but we'll make that bigger. And then we're hard coming back into an S shape, and S is pretty closed, so let's do that. So we're holding that S shape, and then we're going to relax into some kind of more neutral position as it goes.
wow.
So that's just the jaw.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So now we're going to do the actual shapes. So I have, when I do the shapes, I'm focusing on the mouth controllers, but not the jaw. So I have a little button for the mouth controllers, but not the jaw. So, and this picker actually has, sorry, this character has some shapes built in here. So this is going to save us some time. I've kind of got a wah going here, but let's make a real one. Wah. So I'm going to compress stuff into an O shape, a closed O shape, which is more of a W shape. Let's close it in, push the lips out a bit because they're puckering. I think maybe I want to anticipate a bit so we can compress further on this frame. I want to hold this. Maybe we can ease out of this shape. So I've scaled that back.
Wow.
So we're moving too much here. So we can make this way softer. So I'm going to open up, go back into the W shape, and then ease out of it.
Wow.
I think maybe I'm opening up too much here. So let's scale that down.
Wow. I didn't feel wow.
I think we need this to be a bit earlier.
Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow.
I think we're blending too much out of this shape. I don't mind here, but I think we're too far at this point. So I'm just going to have it settle around this kind of shape. And same for this.
I didn't feel sick at wow.
So we got a little wow in here, which is somewhat working for me. It's not amazing. I might have the lips touch a bit more. We've got zip on here, which is doing this. A little bit on this side as well. I think that'll help.
Wow. I didn't. Wow. 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 I didn't feel sick at all. Not.
I think we can open this side up a bit more. I think that's unappealing otherwise. And then we'll just blend into that a little bit. Cool.
Wow. I didn't. Wow. Wow.
So what else can we do with this transition? We've got these mouth movers, which are these big ones. And what I'm going to do is start it over here a bit more. And during the transition, we can open up this way a bit more and arc it around. Let's open it this way and then we can come back.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So I quite like that movement, but I think it's a bit too much. So I'm just going to scale it down using push-pull.
Wow. 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 Wow.
And I'm going to soften this a bit in here.
I didn't. Wow. Wow.
Might be a bit too soft. Only soften it a little bit.
I didn't feel sick. Wow. Wow. I didn't feel. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Cool, so we got the wow
Wow.
for now. We got a version of the wow.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. Wow.
Wow. I, which is kind of a wider shape, I didn't feel. So I'm going to get the F shape because that's a real difficult one to get. And then I'm going to work from that open shape into the F shape. Is this an F? Somewhat. Do they have? I think they have more shape ones. These are more expressionary. Yeah, here's some more shape ones here. So let's use these. They have an FV here. But this is kind of a wide F. Anyway, we can figure it out. We'll find this F shape. I need the teeth to be in front for the F. Didn't feel. I think because we're going into an E after this, this can be wider. So we can make that wider. But I want this teeth to be very prominent. And then we're going to have to get into that without seeing the teeth move. Cool. Yeah, make a button for these two. Cool.
I didn't feel.
So let's have the final F position here. Cool. I didn't feel. So I think I'm going to keep it narrower for a bit. For a little while. So let's keep it. Let's maybe have these come down and in. Let's get rid of some of these transitionary shapes between this and this. The tongue is a bit too prominent for me, so I'm going to cheat it down a bit, scale it, cheat it down. I didn't. So for the T of didn't, the tongue needs to touch the roof of the mouth. So during this transition, I need to do a little tongue move in here. Feels a bit big. Just going to scale it around a bunch. The fact that this has scale is really useful on this rig. Big fan of that.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
So I feel like there's not enough shape change in here.
Wow. I didn't feel sick.
I feel like the F still needs to be wider for this to work. And this needs to get wider earlier. So let's find a wide point for the F, like this. And then we can ease towards that quicker. Maybe lessen the Z. And the teeth, we need to find a transition for that's less obvious. So maybe we can get most of the way here early.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick. I didn't
Feel. So we need the bottom teeth for this E shape, I think. So let's get those in. And we'll keep it going wider for this move. Let's go to where this shape was and then make it wider from there. I'll tuck this side in a bit. I think it's getting a bit ugly. So let's do that. Teeth. I can't have them move too much. Don't want to be able to see that. So right now everything's moving inside the mouth and you can see it, so I need to fix that.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all.
Didn't feel sick. So I'm going to get to the end of this sentence and find the shape for that, and then I can work towards it. Just like I did with the F, where I worked towards the F, because that was the final shape that held for a little bit. I'm going to find out what this K sound is in here. Have a quick drink there. Oh. Yeah, any questions about what the hell I'm doing, please ask, because this is the first time I've used the controllers for this rig, so I'm getting used to it a bit.
I didn't feel sick.
Sick. It's kind of a K, which is kind of like an E mixed with a S. But these aren't really helping me because of the angle that the head's at. This is why I don't use libraries too much, because they only really work for the angle of the head that's straight on. Sick. Let's keep the teeth. I think we want the lips to be a bit more lax, and I think we want the jaw to be a bit more close, so let's close it more. And the tongue at this point, I think it's just distracting, so let's hide it at this point. Ideally, these teeth would be a bit bigger, I think. So let's try and do that. Here we go. Finding something for this shape. I think that looks cool. But now the issue is getting that shape to work. So over the one frame that these teeth pop in, I want them to be where they're going to be at this point. Cool. So now they don't feel like they're moving around. And maybe over this frame we can do the same thing for this. It doesn't feel like too much. It does feel like too much, so I'm going to do over 2 frames. I'm just going to try and blend that in a way that doesn't feel too obvious. Right, now we've got an issue where the teeth are behind the tongue, so I need to push the tongue back in space. That kind of works.
Feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
So now we've got way too much shape changes going on in here, so let's get rid of this one. Looks disgusting right now. We're gonna have to figure this out. Yeah, thanks for the follow, dude. How's it going?
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel
feel sick. So maybe for sick, we can close it a little bit. We can see a bit of sank here. I think that's the tongue. Yeah. Let's hide that.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel
This doesn't work for me right now. I think it's because feel. I think it's too open. So let's look at this jaw. Close it some more. And the whole lip is kind of biasing that side too much. So let's just turn that back a bit. We zero out that and then move it across.
I didn't feel sick at I didn't feel
That's better.
sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
This kind of looks weird to me. It's gonna be a bit fiddly to get used to this rig.
I didn't feel sick
Let's hold this for a bit longer.
at all. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick. Wow.
So I think for K of sick, we need to overshoot this. So let's
Feel sick.
get some more, maybe a bit less teeth and a bit more tongue in this part. I think that's part of why it feels unappealing.
Didn't feel sick at all. Not didn't feel sick. Didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at.
There's a lot of experimentation at this point. Lots of fiddling. But we're going to make it work. Got it boiling in here.
I didn't feel sick.
Might need to turn the heating off if it's still on.
I didn't feel sick.
So the K, sick, I feel like you do a little thing in here, so let's figure that out.
Feel sick. Sick.
Yeah, I think you open a bit for this part, so let's do that.
Didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Didn't feel sick at. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this.
Wow. I didn't feel sick. I didn't.
I feel like this open doesn't read right now, so I want to lead it a bit more.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick.
Kind of moving all over the place with this right now.
Feel sick at all.
These teeth just disappear on a frame, which I don't necessarily want.
At all. Not. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. Didn't feel.
I think part of the issue is we open wide on this screen right, but not on the screen left, and that's causing it to look a bit dodgy. So let's try experimenting with this.
Sick at all. Didn't feel sick. Didn't feel sick.
maybe through this part we can keep going wider and up a bit. Just so it has so much to go. Right. Same on this side, huh?
At all. Feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. I didn't.
And then I assume that we're going to be coming narrower for the next part, so we can ease out for the next part. Cool.
At all. I didn't feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick.
Let's see if my heating's on real quick. I'm boiling. No, it's not on. I'm just boiling. Cracking under the pressure of difficult lip sync. We'll get there.
Wow. I didn't feel sick.
I think this needs to read a bit clearer. I just want to see that shape change a bit more.
I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
So let's find the shape for this at all. Where do we end up after this? I want to find a nice pose for it, so let's do that. Something like this might work. Cool. Oh, so all is a bit of an O in there, so we're definitely going to go for a bit of an O. So I'm going to take this shape I made earlier. This is a bit broken. Let's take this shape. I'm going to mirror it because this is hella broken. Yeah, it's a bit broken in here. Let's try this. And then, where was that frame where we made this pose? Is this one. So we're going to go...
Sick at all. Not sick at all. Not sick.
We're going to go in for the all.
At all.
And then we're going to come back out again. So let's figure out this transition, huh? Cool, and now the tongue. I think it's a bit complicated in here, so we're just gonna slowly get rid of it. I work as graphically as possible. That's kind of my go-to. That's why I don't mind moving stuff around. As long as you don't see the transitions between these graphic shapes, then it's all good with me.
At all. Not one sick at all. Feel sick at all.
So let's hold this shape before we move around. Let's hold it for this section. And then we can figure out how to...
Feel sick at all. At all. At all.
I think at this, we're going to ease back into this one.
At all. Not at all. At all. Sick at all. Sick at all.
So I want that tongue for the all. So let's do the tongue. So I want to be able to see the bomb. Maybe I need to scale all of them to do this. Yeah, okay. I want this transition to read. Let's get it right up in there.
At all. at all, not at all, at all,
At all. At all. I'm just doing it in person. Maybe it could be snappier. I think as long as these transitions read a bit easier, we'll be good.
not at all, at all, not at all, not once, at all.
I'm going to drag the up on this. I think that'd be cool.
All, not at all, at all.
So during this, when the teeth are invisible, I want them to, when the teeth can't be seen, I want them to snap to where they're going to be in the next position. That way, when you come out, you don't see the teeth move. On the oh, you're working on. Reads more like an ooh.
I don't feel sick at all.
Yeah,
I didn't feel sick at all.
yeah, I think you're probably right. We can scale that down a bit. Let's try it out. Lip sync master in chat giving me the best tips. Let's do it. So I'm gonna grab those keys. I'm gonna push pull it a little bit.
At all, at all, at all, sick at all. Not, wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not sick at all.
Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Let's try some more. So I'm going to go to the one that's most compressed, which is, I guess, this one. Yeah, let's go
At
less
all,
compressed.
Not at all. Not,
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's a
didn't
good
feel
shout.
sick
Thank you,
at
Danger
all.
Cat.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. At all.
Let's try add a little bit of spice to this. Get him over a bit for the all.
At all. At all. All. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that feels too movie to me. Maybe we'll use the other mover that doesn't move the tongue and teeth. Let's try that. Let's just try and move this one over a bit.
At all. Not sick at all. Not once.
Yeah, let's get in there.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. Help seeing them come up too. Yeah, I think you're definitely right on that.
Sick at all.
So, but what we can do is take this shape for this knot, I think, which might be more in here. Let's see. So we need a T in here, which is going to be a nice closed mouth shape. So let's figure out the T first before we get too ahead of ourselves. I want to see the T for the T. So I'll figure this shape out and then we'll work towards it. It's kind of how I like to work personally. Definitely not the best at lip sync, but I enjoy it quite a bit. Maybe get a bit of this control involved, get a little bit of push on this side, which is quite nice. Yeah, we're starting to open here. I think we're opening too much.
Once. At all. Not at all.
Okay, so now let's figure this out. This isn't working right now. 7 months on NBA. I think you've talked about this before when I've done a previous stream actually. Just face animation specifically. Yeah, I guess that would help you out a lot. Too many frames. Yeah, I bet. Was that a really high quota then? So yeah, the teeth and the tongue here, I don't want movement on those.
Oh, not once. Oh, not.
So let's tone this movement down. I think that's the big reason this is going mental. Let's just do the shapers.
Not once. Not. Oh, not.
Okay, so now let's figure this transition out.
Not once. Feel sick at all. Not once. Not.
I think maybe we can keep it a bit narrower. Let's try that. Especially because it's going to once after this. I think we can keep it narrower.
Not once. Feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Again, they were slowly building
sick
it in.
At all.
Oh, it was hard at first. Once I got used to it, it was nice actually. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like every job you
all.
improve at least something in particular. And I think this is moving way too much during this part, so I'm gonna just get that back. So once we kind of already have this O, but a W is a bit different, so let's figure it out. It's also hard because the head's starting to lead around here. But we can delay it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to figure this out. We're going to get this wash shape going. I don't think I want to see the tongue. I think it's confusing us a bit. This rig has some nice compression on it for sure. Some of that stuff is really good. Love that. Once. Let's get that bottom lip up as well. Maybe make it less of an oval. Cool.
Not once. Not.
Once. So let's find an S shape over here. And then again, we can work from this U shape into an S shape. So let's figure out an S shape. 8K frames a week at 60 FPS. Wow. Interested to see how well you can tie the cheeks and nose. Yeah, that's a part I always do after figuring this out. This takes me a little while. I'm definitely not the best at at anything, but you know, lip sync hard. So this is going to be an S shape over here. So let's figure that out. It's going to be a bit wider. Maybe it doesn't need to be quite as high on this. Kind of freestyle the teeth because I'm going to transition into it, and I think that's going to be fine. And maybe the jaw needs to be a bit more closed for this S shape as well. Where do you work now, if you're allowed to say, Danish Celt? Humble Chester over here. I think I'm good at finding graphic shapes, but not necessarily getting like it correct, if that makes sense. Which is why I'm a film animator and not like a VFX or something where things need to be correct. Let's go for something like this. I think this would be cool. And then I can get all the teeth and tongue over to where they're going to be. as soon as possible. Maybe not that bottom teeth. We can keep that hidden until it starts to come up around here.
Once. Wow. Not once. Not once. Not
Might be a bit too delayed right now. It's
once.
like super
Wow.
bendy.
Once. Not feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Working at Amazon right now on their little robot. I don't think I know too much about that.
Wow.
That's cool though. It's game stuff though, I assume.
Not feel sick at all.
I guess I'm not too in sync with the games world as a film animator myself. Let's swing this around. We're delaying it and then we're swinging it around.
Once. Wow. Not once.
So let's hold this shape. And the teeth tongue. Yeah, so it's going to start to break. We can start to mirror it as the head turns to keep the shape. Oh, that's disgusting. We'll fix that.
Wow. Not once. Not once. Wow. At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Not once.
Let's open the jaw more here. Big open.
Once. Wow. Not once. Not.
And then we just need to hide some of these transitions with the tongue and the teeth and different things. And it will look cool as hell.
Once. Wow. Not once. At all. Not once.
Okay, so let's do some fun transition with this. Yo, thanks for following. What we said. Actually not a game. It's a companion bot, Astro. Oh, interesting. Yeah, a lot of runs gone wrong, exactly. That's cool.
Once. Wow. Not once. Feel sick at all. Not once.
It's a very like different project, isn't it? Like, I can see what you mean when you say you didn't think you'd be working on something like that. It definitely is a very unique project. It's interesting though. That's cool, man.
Once. Wow.
Yo, thanks for the follow. Cheers, guys. So right now we're doing some lip sync. I'm slowly getting through the lip sync on this.
Once.
Which is like a first pass. I want to figure some stuff out.
Not once. Not once.
I feel like this shape is getting a bit too mental. Maybe it's just opening too much. So let's tone that down. And I also need to hide like the teeth and tongue to not intersect. Because that looks gross. So let's hide that for all of these frames. Is this the teeth? Yeah.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. Once.
Yeah, this is going to be gross. Let's... Maybe in here or something we can close the mouth before we open it. And that way we can cheat the teeth and stuff and try and hide this dodgy transition.
Wow. Once. Wow. Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. Once.
It's So yeah, let's make this shape a bit nicer right now. It's a bit gross looking. Super easy to get nice shapes with this rig, I think, which is a big advantage. So let's go for this shape, which is a little bit cleaner. And then we can just ease into it over these two. Boom.
Wow. Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. At all. Not once.
So maybe we can drag this a little bit. That would be cool. This Z in here can drag and then sail back. Whoops, deselect that last key. I think in general we can ease these frames. A bit softer. Not sure what this one's doing, so let's just make sure they're soft.
Once. Wow, I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So there's a quick pass on it. Pretty explorative. The team I'm on gets to really experiment with what a home robot should even be. Yeah, that is cool. So it's going to be, I guess it's a consumer product, right? Yeah, it's very different to like shot work, I assume, like extremely different to shot work.
At all, not once. Wow, I didn't feel
right.
sick
So we've
at all. Not
done
once.
a first pass
Wow.
here. I think certain things work better than other things.
I didn't feel sick.
Like I don't like
I didn't feel sick. I
this
didn't
at all.
feel sick.
This feels stiff in here.
I didn't feel sick. I
Didn't
didn't feel
feel sick.
I didn't feel sick.
What I can do is have a quick look at these X's and make sure that things are nice.
Feel sick at all. Not feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
This feels a bit gross now. Let's turn that down. Try and make this a bit cleaner.
Feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel.
More similar to game than anime, even though it isn't a game. It's very different. We have to animate with the actual mechanical restrictions of the motors. Oh wow, yeah, that's very strange. Is that in Denmark or do you live elsewhere?
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So what I have in Maya, which is going to help me look at this a bit closer, is I have a hotkey which changes my frame rate to half speed. So this is going to help me look at this lip sync a bit closer. So maybe something that could be cool is if this W anticipates up a bit and then it can come down a little bit for a bit of breakup. Lip syncs link. Thanks dude. Thanks Ren. We're getting there. This rig's got some real nice fleshy stuff to it, so we're just focusing on the mouth shapes and stuff for now, and then when we're done with that, I'll do some face connectivity. Yeah, but the slow-mo button's good, because it slows down the audio, and then I can really look at... can really look at how things are working. So I think what would be cool is for this to have a bit more compression visible. So let's keep that easy. Alright, that's fun. We like that button. I don't even know what I've had that script for so long I don't even know what it is. I think it's really simple. Let's have a quick look at it. Hotkey editor, one-handed keys. If I just type in the hotkey, which I have it set to P. Play half playback speed. Yeah, it's this. So if anyone wants this, here's the script. It's Python script. So just copy that. My chat box on stream just looks like code now. Amazing.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So I think maybe we can offset the mouth corners a little bit. Let's go into the view that we had earlier, because we made a face cam, didn't we? So let's look at the face cam. And then we can look at...
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We can look at how these mouth corners are moving around. And you can see that if I animated it properly, it would be broken as hell. But I like to animate graphically.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
And that's how we've ended up here.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I want to check a couple of these curves just because I think there's some jank going on. Yeah. Cool. Let's check everything quickly. This is a bit janky over here. Z. This looks fine. Let's just clean up a few bits.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay, so mouth corners. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offset the Y and the X on the mouth corners a little bit to get some arcs. 3 arcs. So I'm going to have a look. I'm going to make sure that these are clean at least. I think they're mostly clean. I think this could ease a bit easier.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
It's not perfect lip sync, but
at all. Not once.
For the sake of the stream, we'll continue. I think I'm just going to offset the Y. We'll try half a frame earlier to start.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We need to hide cameras in here. This is well annoying. Polygons.
Wow.
So I've been offsetting by half a frame a lot. I'll remind anyone that's new. I'm using time offsetter, which is one of the sliders in Animbot. I use the hotkey Control Alt for that. And this very first one on either side is a half frame offset. And it doesn't actually change the frame that you're on. It just bakes stuff down and then does it and bakes it back again. So it allows you to offset by half frames, which is nice. But maybe we can try offsetting by a whole frame. How about that? Let's offset the Y by a whole frame. Let's try it. Boom.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So it's very archy now.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I feel like it's pretty good.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Maybe I need to track. I don't want to have to track, but...
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
It might be okay.
Not once.
This is a bit jank in here. So I might just quickly track this corner. Okay, yeah, I think this is getting a bit... So even though I'm animating to camera, and I'm not too fussed about where these keys are. Okay, it's breaking to all hell now. I want it to at least continue in arc. The arc tracker kind of broke on me here. I'm kind of doing it by eye at this point. Okay.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I think it's just that spacing is a bit large. Let's turn that down.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Let's look at it in camera.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Let's look at it in slow-mo.
I didn't feel sick at all.
Python in chat. Hacking Twitch chat, exactly. Yeah, you can copy the script. That's why I pasted it. I've just bound that to P so that I can play things at half speed and check them a bit easier.
Sick at all. Not
I think what that's done though is broken some stuff. Let's look at it in camera space. The camera space is really what matters because that's what everyone sees. I'm gonna have to blend that a bit better with some of these controls as well. Cool, I think that's looking decent.
wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So let's start doing some face connectivity. We can always go back and tweak this, but for now, let's do some face connectivity and have some fun. I'm gonna go back into my one camera view in my shot cam.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
This is where we're at. I just saved it up a version, and let's do some face connectivity, which is good fun. So I'm going to take the jaw up and down. No worries, bud. See you in a bit, Adam. So I'm going to take the face, the jaw, and I'm going to paste that onto both the Y and the translate Z of the jaw.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
And it looks amazing. I think the Z in particular needs some
Not
flips.
once.
I think maybe they both needed to be flipped. Let's see.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So yeah, let's grab both of these, scale them down a bunch, and put them over the 0 so that the ups and downs are kind of going in the right direction from 0.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Cool. Let's go to one of the downs. So I'm going to do more in the Z than in the Y, I think.
At all. Not once.
Let's turn it down a bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay. Let's really tone this down.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And I think I'm going to offset it half a frame.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So that's done a little
Wow.
bit for free.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the side to sides in the jaw quickly because I think that'll give us a bit of free appeal. So let's hang this back. This can open up this way and overshoot this way and then settle back to neutral.
Wow. I didn't. Wow.
Maybe we don't want to settle back all the way to neutral. We can settle back somewhere in here and keep that line through the face a bit more connected.
I didn't.
So which way is this opening? Yeah, that's fine for me.
I didn't feel sick at all.
So when he turns, I want to bias this side. So let's start to go. And then we can bias this side for the open over here. Maybe you can overshoot and settle a little bit. Maybe we can start to open up for the knot. Yeah, I don't want it to do too much though. So let's keep it this way for a bit longer. But then, yeah, definitely when we start to go this way, we need to open up this way. Cool, let's go here. And then when we come back, we can make it more neutral. Cool.
Wow, I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow, I didn't feel sick at all.
Ooh, commands.
Not once.
I didn't know I even had commands. Luke
Wow.
knows Twitch better than
I
me.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So that did a little bit. I think I want to take that jaw curve again, and I'm going to try on some different controllers as well. We've got these head shapers. So maybe we can add a tiny bit on the translate on this. This is going to be way too much.
Wow. I didn't feel sick
Yeah, a real tiny amount. I just want a little bit
at
of
all.
movement in that dead zone in the
Once.
middle.
Wow.
And then we can offset that half frame again.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So what else can we put that jaw up and down onto? We have cheeks in here. We have a lot of cheek controls actually, which I've got buttons for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that up and down on here as well. Trying to figure out if you had a Discord server. I don't. Maybe I should, but I don't. Yeah, okay. So now the cheeks are following. I'm going to scale that down.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
That looks nice. We'll scale it down some more though. So the way that I'm going to offset this is one frame for the first lot of cheeks here, and then another frame for the rest, I think. Maybe these two can go another half frame. We'll see. We'll see. Might be a bit too overlappy. We'll see. Let's turn on wireframe.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't.
What is this line? Is that the teeth or something? Oh, okay. You can see the teeth when it's wireframe mode. That's weird. Let's just cheat them back.
Feel sick at all.
That might be the tongue there. I imagine this is the kind of thing you don't see in animation, but then when you get to lighting, you can see it. So, in case this ever gets lit.
Oh, not once.
Cool.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So now the cheeks
Wow.
follow
I didn't feel
the
sick
jaw up and
at
down.
all. Not
It might be a bit much, so let's scale it down, smooth it a little bit,
once.
soften
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
it. No obligation to have one. Let's flood my water in a second. That's a good frame I just froze on.
I didn't feel sick at all.
We can turn this onto not no lights, that's terrifying, but flat lights.
Once. Wow.
And then
I
we
didn't
just
feel
see the
sick at
textures,
all.
and it helps us see these
Once.
lines a bit easier.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So what else can we copy that jaw onto? That jaw up and down. I think this curve, which is like 2.5 frames offset or something, or 1.5 frames offset. We might be getting a bit overcomplicated, but I'm going to take this curve again and I'm going to put it on this, but I'm going to have to do that on a layer because this is already connected to, this is the cheeks here, the eye rings. These are already connected to the eye mask and I've already done a lot of animation on them. So instead of touching them, I'm going to make a new layer with them over here and I'm going to call that face connect. And I'm going to change the color of that. It sure is lit. I'm going to change the color of that to blue because then I know that that's a layer that I've got. So now I can paste the jaw onto the up and down of this. It's going to be the wrong way, so I'll flip it, scale it down a bunch, offset it a frame and maybe a half as well, frame and a half. I'm going to take this curve and put it on these because I think I'm overcomplicating things.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
But
Not
now
once.
the eye skin
Wow.
there gets pulled by the
I
jaw
didn't
a
feel
little bit.
sick at all. Not
And maybe it's a bit too much. So I can always go in and scale it down, which I'm fine with.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. What else can we do?
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We can put the jaw on the nose. We can even scale the nose. I might translate it. I'll translate it. Put the jaw on the nose, offset half a frame.
Wow. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
Let's see how that looks.
Sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Quite subtle.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not
So yeah, we got a little
once.
bit of movement on the nose
Wow.
now.
I didn't feel sick at all.
Cool. So that worked better than I thought. I didn't have to do any changes, any scaling. The ears, maybe the translate Y and the rotate Z. So when the jaw opens, the ears kind of close down with it. I think that would be cool. Let's do on both of these.
Wow. I didn't feel sick.
So yeah, when the jaw opens now, you can see the ears reacting slightly. I'm going to tone that
At
down.
all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
We've got a
Wow.
few bits of
Feel sick.
clipping, it looks like. Although when you zoom in, you can't see it. I think it's just
Sick at all.
artifacting. That's
Not
fine.
Once. Wow. I didn't
So the
feel
jaw's
sick
connected
at all.
through quite a lot of the face now. What else can I do? I think I'm going to look at the mouth corners. So this right mouth corner, I'm going to take this curve, which is the X and the Y of the corner. So that's just it moving around, and I'm going to put it on the nostril. So the nostril follows. Let's do that.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Yeah, that's cool, but I think it starts, it's a bit wide throughout, so let's grab the X and get that back to moving around neutral. I want it both to move around neutral, really.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So now that's connected, but I'm going to turn it down a bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick
And I'm going to offset it a frame, maybe.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So I think what I'll do is I'll do the same on the other side. So let's do that. Just cleaning up this curve because it's a bit wobbly. And yeah, I mean, it might be okay. Something's going on here that's a bit funky. But that's okay, we'll grab that mouth corner and put it on the nostrils and hopefully it'll be okay. If not, we'll just mirror the other nostril.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Yeah, that looks okay to me. Let's offset it a frame. Do
I didn't feel
intentional with
sick
this now.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I think this is getting too close to the nose here, so I'm gonna maybe tone this down.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Not once.
Yeah, like the lips are getting too close to this for this to be going down. I'm gonna flip this curve.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So now we've got a fleshy nose.
Wow. I didn't feel
Let's
sick
turn lighting
at
back
all.
on.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. not once. Wow.
Right. So what I like to do also is a pass of inflate on the cheeks, which looks like it kind of works. Yeah, if I scale both of these, it works. It's a shame that you can't scale them. Oh, you can scale them all at the same time. It just breaks. Is it this? Is the inverse scale? I don't know why that one scales a bit weirdly. Maybe it's just this pose.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe I can put the jaw. So when the jaw opens, we get a little bit of scaling in on this. On both the X. I think all of them actually. On all of them. On all of them. Boom, boom.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Yeah, so it's completely broken. Let me put it on, make sure it's on all the curves.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
It's completely broken, but if we scale it down a bunch, put it over 1 so that it's going above and under 1 nicely.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Then we get a little bit of nice connection there.
Not
And offset that a little
once.
bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
A little bit of
Wow.
squishy face.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
What other face connect stuff can we do? I haven't touched anything with the brows yet. So let's take the up and down of the brows. And I'm going to put it on the Z of the head squash controller.
Not once.
So when the eyebrows come down, the head is going to bend forward a little bit. So that needs to be flipped, right? And then I need to put that there.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So when these come down, this should be squishing forward with it like this a little bit. See that? That's cool. Maybe these peaks are a bit too much. That's fine. And then maybe I want to offset that a frame as well.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick
And turn it up a bit.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel
It's a subtle
sick
thing.
at all. Not once.
But it's just going
Wow.
to connect everything
I
up a
didn't
little
feel
bit for
sick
free.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We're really getting through this, huh? What's the time? 5:15. Awesome.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at
I think I've decided that I want to get to this a bit earlier. So let's do that. And I want to get wider in the mouth shape a bit earlier, is what I mean. So I'm just going to favor in a little bit.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. Oh. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Subtle,
Wow.
but
I didn't feel sick at all. Not
should be fine.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So another pass I like to do on the nose is the rotate Z. Because right now the mouth is moving around. Like here, for example, the mouth is over here a little bit, but the nose is not following at all. So we can make it follow by doing a little pass here. It's only for certain moments where we push things a lot, like here. We want to start having the nose just so that it feels connected. Anything in here? Not particularly. Here though, when we're dragging, we can drag the nose. And then we need to go the other way pretty soon after for this move in here. And then maybe even compress up a bit for this move. So now that's going to be connected. We can ease this out and then have this ease into this final position in here. Cool, cool, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it has
I
again.
didn't feel sick
Flowers.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow.
Might be a bit too visible here of a change. So I might soften this a bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So another thing we can do, we haven't really touched the Y on this yet. Boom, boom, boom. And I think we can get some nice, maybe we can do it with the eyebrows again, just like we did with the Z. So let's take that Z and put it on the Y as well and see what happens. I haven't tried that yet. We want to work around that.
Sick at all.
So this needs to be flipped.
Oh, not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So I think it's going to be too much, but a little bit of it might be nice.
Oh, not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Maybe we can also do a quick pass of the X on this. And then we can open a tiny bit towards the side that we're favoring each time we do a transition like this. And we can drag this a little bit as well for funsies. Oh, we're on the wrong tool. Let's go ease in and out. Let's get the X back up. Let's ease these guys in. So until around here, we're going to be up here. Just going to delete all of these middle keys, chuck this in the middle. Cool. So what's this doing? This was opening up this way, which is cool. That's what we want. We want to open up this way for this pose. Cool. And then we want to start to ease back out for when we turn. Cool. And then we can open up this way for this turning. Might be a bit much. Just turn it down. Again, we can start to ease back for this part. And then we can ease into a final position where we're opening up, favoring this side. Cool. So just a quick pass.
Wow.
But adds a
I didn't
little
feel
bit.
sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all.
I wonder if the head has scale. Oh my, the head has scale. Interesting. The scale is on this control though, not the temporary control we made. Okay, so we're going to do some fun stuff in here. We're going to exaggerate this a little bit. This moment. This is very naughty. You're not supposed to touch scales.
At all. Sick at all. At all. Not at all. Sick at all. Sick
So I think that's the movement that we want. It's just too much, so I'm
at
going
all.
to turn it down.
Sick at all. Sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Sick at all. At all. Sick at all. Not once. Not
Maybe we can do it for once as well. And then have it ease back.
once. Wow. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We've come a long
Wow.
way today, though.
I didn't feel
All this
sick
facial
at
stuff.
all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
You love a good
I
scaling
didn't
head.
feel sick at
We all love a
Not
good scaling
once.
head. I want to check up on some of these curves quickly. This is the head shaper. Just want to make sure that things don't hit walls. This control isn't affecting too much at this point, so it should be okay. Just want to make sure that things ease correctly and such.
Sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. At all.
I feel like we can make this eye scale a bit bigger for this part as well. Let's investigate, huh? Boom, boom. Did that scale it up? I don't know.
At all. Not at all. Not sick at all. Not sick at all. Not sick
I think the head scale in here feels a bit wobbly, so let's tone it down for this part.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Maybe it's too early, maybe that's part of the issue.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Let's play blast this guy. Let's watch it in slow-mo first.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I've got a few things I want to do to the body.
I didn't feel sick
Still got to do fingers. I want to add some breathing.
once.
So let's go on to those things. We're definitely getting more and more polishy as time goes on. Let's play Blast version 16, and then we'll move on. Open a new version and we'll do some more macro changes. Whilst this is play blasting, I'm going to fill up my water. I will be right back. I'll leave this playing whilst I go so you guys can have a look at it. I'll let this finish play blasting first.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Alright,
Wow.
I'm going to go to the loo.
I didn't feel
think
sick
this is
at
getting there,
all.
though.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
There's a few
I
things I'm
didn't feel
noticing.
sick at all. Not
But I'll go to the
once.
toilet first and
Wow.
hopefully get fresh eyes when
I
I come
didn't
back.
feel sick at all.
BRB?
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Yo.
Wow. I didn't feel sick
How's it
at
going,
all.
guys?
Not once.
So
Wow.
let's look at this
I
guy.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I noticed, I think
didn't
the
feel-
eyebrows for this here could compress in more. I feel like they hit a wall, so I'm going to work on that. There you go, we've got a note. Awesome. Small note, after he says not, the screen left corner of his mouth goes out and comes back in for once. Feels a bit busy. Might be able to stick in not more. Let's have a look.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. This settle here is too big and then it goes back in again, and I think it's a
Feel
bit
sick
messy.
at
I
all.
agree.
Not once.
Definitely. It's a good shout. So let's do that.
At all. Not
So it comes in for these frames. And then we have this bit where it goes out again. So let's turn that down. And it might do it the same for the other.
once.
Might do the same for the other mouth corner as well. So I'm just pulling that back.
Not once. Oh, not once.
Yeah, I think that's better. Good
Once.
note.
Wow.
Good note.
I didn't feel
I was
sick
going to say,
at
this
all.
is getting
Not
to the stage
once.
where I'd be looking
Wow.
for
I didn't
notes. You
feel
know, that's
sick
kind of,
at all. Not
for me,
once.
polish is like,
Wow.
you just keep
I
working
didn't feel
and you
sick
get more and
at
more
all.
notes and you
Not
keep going
once.
with it.
Wow.
But I'm going to add a few more things and clean up a few stuff, a few bits first. There was a few things I noticed. I feel like these eyebrows, yeah, they kind of hit in here. But I want them to keep compressing, I think. I think that'd be cool. This is half frame offset, so the tangents are a bit dodgy. Annoyingly, it doesn't go back to auto tangents. So let's maybe do this and just have them continue.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all.
And now maybe this is a bit much. This tangent's crazy. Let's auto that guy.
At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna do
Wow.
some
I
breathing.
didn't feel
I'm
sick
gonna
at
do
all. Not once.
a couple bits to clean up. The fingers I want to do a pass on. The hair. Lots of different bits. So I've upped to version. The head right now is in world
I didn't feel
space,
sick at all. Not once.
which could cause issues for the breathing layer I want to do.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So maybe we just upped to version, so that's fine. I'm just going to clear and bake it back down onto its original control.
Wow.
Let's check that it
I
hasn't
didn't
messed
feel
anything
sick
up.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick
Did that mess up the head shake layer? I wonder. Yeah, it did.
at all. Not
Oh, well.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Did it?
I didn't
Or
feel
did it just
sick.
bake it all down? I think maybe it just baked it all
Wow.
down. Might be
I
fine.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I think that's reset things.
I
It's
didn't feel
baked it on
sick
once,
at
I
all.
think.
Not once.
So it should be fine. People iris scaling, it does, and I have done a pass on people iris scaling, but I can tone it up a bit.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Yeah, you can see it most on this blink, I think. this is a bit janky. I'll clean up these shapes as it opens a little bit.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Anyway, so we brought the chest back to
Wow.
uh
Wow.
no, we brought the head back to we brought the head back to body space. So now I can do a breathing layer. That was what I was going to do. Yeah, this rig's dope, man. It's pretty appealing. I think it's a really good one. Okay, breathe layer. So let's make this blue again, or whatever color, so I know that I'm doing it.
Wow.
And for breathing, this is a top tip I got from the channel box guys as well. which was super useful. I'll find out the points I wanted to breathe because temp pivots are a bit dodgy.
Wow. Wow.
I kind of want him to breathe in here,
Wow.
and maybe he can breathe out here.
Wow. I didn't feel wow. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel
And I can
sick.
hold, and he can breathe
I
in,
didn't feel sick
breathe in before at all.
I didn't feel sick
Here,
at all.
it's going to breathe out for this move, so I'll hold that. I kind of want the breathes to lead a little bit.
Sick. Didn't feel sick at all. Not at all.
And then for not, we can breathe in again. That can be an ease. Breathe in,
Once.
and then we can breathe out for once, and then just breathe in for the ending. Cool. So the reason that I did all those keys was because for some reason animbot temp pivots sometimes don't let you key, and I just wanted some positioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use temp pivot, and I'm going to put the pivot kind of at the base of the neck. And then what that does is I can pivot from this position, which is more of a breathing position, right? Yeah, maybe I want this to be more compressed here. It's being a bit dodgy. Where am I? So I want this to be breathing in and out in this part.
Wow. I didn't feel so. Wow. Wow.
Let's turn it down a bit.
Wow. I didn't feel. I didn't feel.
Breathe him in here.
I didn't feel sick.
This can keep breathing in.
Feel sick. Doesn't feel sick at all.
This one I want to be a big breathe out for sure. And this can hold. This can breathe in. And hold again. And then we want to breathe out for this one. Then we can breathe in for this one. And I'm going to look at that curve in a second. It's
I
going to
didn't
be a bit
feel
dodgy.
sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Sick at all. Not
This breathe in is too much, so let's tone that down.
not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
I think that's working. Let's look at these keys and make sure that things are doing what we want them to do.
Wow.
Kind of want
Wow.
to have a bit of a hold and then a bit of a hold on either side.
Feel
Blending from here. Soften this one out. This one can ease out for longer, I think. Because I want this to be snappier.
at all.
And continue this curve. Cool, cool, cool. Let's continue this. Maybe we can hold on this for a bit. And then come down.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
So I'm going to take this rotate curve and I'm going to put it on the breathe controls, which are on the cog for some reason. So now, is this a breathe in or a breathe out? I need to remember. Let's
I
do.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I'm not sure if I've got this the right way.
I didn't feel.
Is he breathing in here?
I didn't feel
It's coming up, so it should be the opposite, I think.
sick at all. Not once.
Yeah, so we've got this, and I'm going to scale
Wow.
it down.
I didn't feel sick at all.
Like a lot.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Like a lot, a
Wow.
lot.
I didn't feel sick at all.
And I think the belly inflate can be the opposite of the chest.
Not once.
So all the
Wow.
breath comes into the
I didn't
chest.
feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Subtle,
I didn't
but
feel
adds
sick
a
at
adds a
all.
nice layer
Not
of stuff to it.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Feel sick at all. Not once.
So it's a subtle little layer. But let's go back to viewing him full screen.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
It adds a little bit to it for
I
sure.
didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not feel sick at all.
I feel like the head has lost something when I baked it down, which is annoying. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm
At
just dumb.
all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Let's play blast this
Wow.
guy and have a look
I
at some
didn't feel
stuff.
sick
We're getting a bit
at all.
polishy now for
Not
sure.
once.
Gotta do fingers. What version are we on? 17. Going through loads of versions today. Cool.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
I think
I didn't feel.
I
I didn't
quite
feel
like
sick.
it.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Yeah, it might be an
I
okay
didn't feel
amount of
sick
breathing.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. All. Not all. Not
I want to make this not connect to the body a bit more. Right now it's isolated to the head. So
once.
I'm going to do a few
Wow.
things to do that.
I didn't feel sick at
then
all.
I'll do the hands.
Not once.
I guess we'll
Wow.
call this little test
I
down at
didn't
that
feel
point
sick
after we do
at
the
all.
hands and the hair.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool.
I didn't feel sick at
Alright,
all.
let's do
Not
it.
once. Wow. I didn't feel sick. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Okay.
Sick at all.
So for this knot, I think it'd be cool. Wow, the head is crazy curves because it's gone back from world space to non-world space.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Yo, that's all followed in.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Oh. Not
Maybe I need to.
once.
I don't know. We're turning that on.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Do you feel like we lost something when we use temp controls? I'm not sure why. Oh well, let's add the temp control back then. So let's add that head IK so we get a world space head again. Boom. Yep.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not.
So for this knot, this is what I wanted to do. I'm gonna add a little bit of translate onto it.
Not once. Wow. Not once.
So I'm doing that because I want to do that on the chest as well. So I'm just going to take that little curve and I look at the up and down of the chest. So let's look at this. Really? Oh, it's because we're on the breathe layer. I was wondering what the hell was going on. So I'm going to snap this buffer and then we're going to add this down to the chest as well. But then offset it. So let's offset that frame. Cool work. I'm a 2D animator. I want to learn how to animate 3D. Speak for any specific channel or courses. There's loads of stuff online nowadays. It's a lot easier for people to learn, I think, for sure. For learning software and stuff, I would recommend different things than workflow and technique. I guess it's depending on what you're trying to learn. I think a site that I learned a lot from when I was first starting out is still free. And that is Anim Dojo, which is currently this site. And if you go on, they have a whole free course on here for 3D animation, which I learned a bunch from. So if you go on learn subjects and you go through these videos here are really good, I think. I learned a bunch from them, so I'll post that for you. It looks amazing so far. Thanks, bud. Let's get in there. Yeah, so I've learned a lot from this. There's also a number of live talks on here, pretty damn useful for 3D animation. I don't know if there's some that I would recommend. I mean, have a look through this site. This will help you a bunch. I would also check out, you can look at all my YouTube subscriptions. Owen Fernie, I think. This is my friend Owen. Is it Owen Fernie? I've forgotten what it is. I've forgotten what Owen's YouTube is. I'll find it. Let me find it. And I'll find a few channels for you and post links. It's really difficult when you subscribe to so many people like I do. I'd probably have a better time finding it off Twitter. I'd also recommend my friend Aaron's channel. I'll post that. He's got some good videos on animation. He's at Sony now working on the Spider-Verse film. So he's got some cool animation stuff. Lots of analysis clips. He's got a breakdown of the short film that we made in 24 hours, which was myself, Aaron, and Jim Sweeting, who's an Animate Illumination. Okay, let's find Owen's. Owen Fern, YouTube channel. It's Owen Fernie with no spaces. I just did it with a space. So I'll check out Owen's. He's got some great stuff on body dynamics for 3D animation, which is great. This first video he made in particular is fantastic, and I learned a bunch from. So I'll post you a link to that. I have some videos myself on YouTube. I personally would recommend this one the most, which is all about posing. It's basically just a live stream recording. I usually upload live stream recordings onto my YouTube. There we go. We can look at my Twitter notifications. Amazing. But yeah, check out some of that stuff. There's a few things to get you started. Hopefully that helps.
Wow.
Let's look at this shot again.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Got a subscriber instantly then. Thank you, whoever that was. Cheers.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick
Okay,
at
so
all.
let's look at the fingers. Oh, I have this connection. I want to maybe do this connection in the Z as well, so I'm going to paste it on the Z. Maybe we could scale that up.
Not once.
And offset that frame. Cool. Maybe this curve's getting a bit rowdy, so let's soften it a bit.
Not once. Not once. Not once.
So now, when he does the knot with his head, there's a little bit of connection in the chest. So that's what I was trying to do.
Not once. Not.
But I think maybe we can keep these going a bit longer. I think that's part. It's sticking a bit right now, so let's keep these going. These tangents are doing my nine.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Cool. Are we going to look at the fingers? Probably.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Cool. Let's look at these fingers. So I've already kind of done a pass of open and closes on previous streams, where I've just selected all of the hand controls and then opened and closed it. But maybe we can push a few bits here and there.
At all.
But all of the fingers are completely in sync with each other, right? So
At all. Not
I need to
once.
make that a bit
Wow.
nicer.
Wow.
So when you open your hand, you lead with the index finger like this, and when you close your hand, you lead with the pinky finger. So for each of these movements, I'm going to offset the fingers according to that.
Wow. I didn't
Maybe we could do something in here with the hand, but
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
so what's leading in this first move? We're opening, so we're opening from the pinky. So let's do that. Let's offset these guys. Maybe a frame. How about I offset these two by a frame, I'm going to use time offsetter and Anibot to do that. And we offset this one by an extra half frame. And then we offset the index finger, which is dragging, by a whole frame this way.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And it's so subtle you can't even see it.
I didn't feel so.
But let's do it for this move and hopefully it will work a bit more. So are we opening or closing
I
here?
didn't feel.
We're opening. So we can open with the pinky leading.
I didn't feel sick.
So I'm going to open the pinky first and offset the index a frame later.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel
It's not
sick
too visible
at
really. I might have to do some stuff myself. But let's just do it down here as well.
At all.
For this part where we get this jiggle. Just going to lead with the pinky
Sick at all.
and drag with the index.
At all. Not once. At all.
And then the middle finger of the thumb are
At
in the
all.
middle because
Not at all. Not at all.
I've offset everything
Not
around
at
them.
all. Not at
And we get a
all.
little bit of
Not
breakup in
once.
there.
At all. Not
So maybe for this opening it will work a bit better. So let's try this. Let's lead with the pinky again. I'll offset this 2 frames ahead. And we're going to drag with the index for this open part. But then for the closing part, I'm going to lead with the index. So that comes forward 1. And then I'm going to drag with these guys. And I can drag with, oh, whoops, I didn't drag with all of those controls. So let's do that properly. Boom. And then for the index in particular, I'm going to drag an extra frame.
wow. Once. Once.
So I think we're not getting enough just from offsetting. We're going to have to build in poses into this. So let's do that. So I'm going to build in this offset. I think maybe I do want to lead with the index just because it's the one that's coming around the most, which contradicts everything I've just said, but you know, we can adjust. Let's just build a pose that has the overlap in it. I think that will be the simplest way of doing this. So more lead on this.
Once. Wow. Once.
So that kind of works a bit better for me.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Do you happen to do any mentoring? I want to get into it for sure. If people like the way I teach on stream and want to learn from me one-on-one, I'm very interested.
At all.
I don't know if you can message me on Twitter. I don't know what the best place to contact me is. I guess you can message me on Instagram, right? Maybe message me on Instagram for more information on that.
Feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Thank you for the recommendations. Really interested in acting and lip sync.
Once.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, hopefully
I didn't
some
feel
of the
sick
techniques
at
I've used
all.
on these streams will help you a little bit.
Wow.
And
I
then
didn't feel sick
some
at
of your
all.
own learning
Not-
will definitely help as
feel
well.
sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at
Cool. So let's do a quick pass on these other fingers as well. So what do I want to drag here? Maybe I want to drag the pinky through this move. And we can get a little bit of breakup. I think that looks cool like that, to be fair. We'll leave it like that. I'm going to have those guys overshoot a bit later. And then I can offset the pinky.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Let's soften this guy out using the smooth tool.
Wow.
Yay, thanks for the follow. How's it going, dudes?
Wow.
But yeah, I'm
Wow.
very interested in doing mentoring. So yeah, definitely give me a message on something. Because I would love to do that.
Wow. I didn't. Wow. 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 Wow.
So yeah, I'm just going to layer in this breakup in here. And have these guys ease either way.
Wow. I didn't feel. Wow. 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 Wow.
Maybe do a bit of the thumb as well. So the thumb can kind of come in and then settle back. We can ease into that a bit more.
I didn't. Wow. 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 Wow.
So I think that's cool, but I think maybe it's a bit much. So let's just blend them all forward a bit.
Wow. 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 I didn't feel sick. Wow.
Maybe we can tense the hand a bit in here. So he tenses it, and then that can ease out of that as it opens up for this move. Which we can open up for more, and then settle back in.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
But all the fingers are going at the same time.
I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel sick.
So I want to offset them a bit. And I think I want to lead with the index for this move. So let me grab these. I'll offset a frame forward, and then I can offset these guys a frame back. And then this guy an extra frame back as well.
I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
A lot of rigs don't have that little window with the character for selection notes. So, oh yeah, so this is a picker. This is Animate Picker, which is a free tool. I think it's free. It's going to be free for students forever. I think they're doing something with corporate stuff. But it's a free tool, and it's what I use for animation. A lot of people just grab controls and move them around. They'll just grab a control and move it around. But for me, what I like to do is make a picker. So I've made this picker myself, and then what I can do is select controls and move them around. And that way I can animate in camera view like this, and I don't have to move around and find the controls. So if I want to select a very specific thing, like this back finger control down here, or this one that you can't even see, I would have to go into perspective and find it and all that kind of thing. But because I've made this picker and I know where all of these controls are, it speeds me up considerably.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. I didn't feel sick.
I want this finger to still lead for this part, I think. It's getting a bit gross down here, so I'm just going to make that a clean ease in using Anibot.
At all. Didn't feel sick at all. Didn't feel sick at all. Feel sick.
And I want to drag these closing for this section as well. So let's offset these a frame, and then offset these a frame.
At all. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. I didn't feel sick at all.
Maybe for not, we can.
At all.
We've got a lot of keys here that we do not need, so I'm just going to delete a bunch of these. For the knot, I'm going to tense the hands a bit though. I think that's going to be cool. Boom. Let's tense the hands a bit. And then I want to hold that pose for a couple frames, and then we can ease out again.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Not once.
So again, this is all opening at the same time, so I'm going to do some offsets. Let's lead with the outer finger. Boom. Maybe I'll do 2 frames for that one. 1 frame for this one. So look, the outer is leading it by a frame still. And then the inner can drag a frame. So I'll offset that back. Cool.
Wow. Not once. Not once. Not once.
But then I kind of want this to lead for the closing part. So let's grab them all and have that lead for the closing part. And we can have this drag for the closing part. Boom. Boom. We can have this lead as well. this drag, sorry.
Wow. Not once. Not once. Not once. Wow. Not once.
So we get that nice little bit of
Wow.
offset in there.
Once. 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 Once.
It might be a bit much. Might just scale it down a bit.
Once. Wow. Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick
Awesome.
at all. Not once.
So we've been
Wow.
going for 3 hours and
I
10
didn't feel
minutes.
sick at all.
So I'm going to stop in a
once.
second. But if anyone's got
Wow.
any questions,
I didn't feel sick at all. Not
we'll get a nice play
once.
blast of this guy.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not sick at all.
I might do a little bit of sculpty stuff like this. So when this comes down, the forearm can lead the hand a little bit. And then that can settle back.
Not at all. Not at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick
I
at
did
all.
want to try the hair out.
Once. Wow.
I might
didn't
try
feel sick at all.
a little script I
Not
have, which
once.
is,
Wow.
you know,
I didn't
a
feel
little
sick
cheaty
at
way of
all.
doing it. I could do the hair all
Once.
manually, or
Wow.
I could try and just use a tool. I wouldn't recommend beginners using a tool, but for me, it saves a lot of time. So let's select some of these hair controls and try it out, huh? I want the very first one in each of these chains. Which is probably way down here, yeah. And this one as well. And I've got this script, so let's go back to my camera view. Shot cam. So I have a script called the overlapper. Let's save it to a new version before I use it, because I don't want it to break anything. So this is a paid script, costs a bit. Basically, it's just going to make things bounce around based on some physicsy stuff. So let's see how much for free we get by doing this. What happened to my water bottle? I must have left it somewhere. Oh well. Which exercises do you recommend for learning 3D animation? Personally, I'd animate a cube, I'd animate a ball, bouncy ball, and then I'd kind of work my way from there and slowly start adding more complexity to the character. So like a ball with legs, and then maybe like a body mechanics type thing with no facial animation, and then one with facial animation. Like you would layer the difficulty of it up over time. I think that's the main part. Right, let's see if this tool is gonna work. If not, it's just gonna break everything. Still loading. God, I'm waiting for this to just break. We'll see if it can handle it or not. But yeah, as I say, I'm going to go off in a second. So any questions people have, I'm very happy to answer and to discuss animation-y things. We got really far in this stream. Oh, looks like it's doing it. We've got really far into this now. It would just be polishy bits, which I don't really think are very fun for stream. Polishy bits. How much costs for Animbot? I think you can get an old version for cheaper than the newest version. I think for the professional version, which I pay for because I'm a freelance animator and I use it professionally, I think it's about $120 a year, which may sound like a lot, but if you've seen how much I use it during this, then you know that's worth it. Love polished stuff for stream. Yeah, but I don't think it's very accessible, you know. Like, I don't think it's good content. I think it's good, maybe it's good educational, but it kind of isn't at the same time, because for me, polish is just getting notes from people, doing them, and then just tracking things more and more and more and more, which is just bland. This is why usually when I do streams, I only go to Blocking Plus, because I think that's the fun bit. I think that's the fun bit to spectate for sure. But if enough people want to see more polishy stuff, I'm happy to do it. I just think it's a bit bland and boring. Use 2D animation rigs and curves, so I think it's a bit similar. I'm not sure what that refers to. No. This is a free tool. This is Anim School Picker. This is a completely free tool. Animbot is this toolbar down here. So this is Animbot here. Right, so let's see what this overlap has done to the hair.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Well, he looks like he's
I
underwater.
didn't feel sick at all.
So that's good.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
I think I need to change some of the parameters. So yeah, this is Anim School Picker, which I guess I'll link it for you guys if you don't know where to find it. I think you need to go via this, and then you have to put your email in. You have to join their email list to get the free tool, which is annoying. But so you have to enter your email and join the email list, and then Animbot, which is a paid tool, which I use a lot for a lot of different things, but that's just because it speeds me up. I could do it all manually; it would just take forever, and it would be really boring. So there's the link for the paid tool. So I undid that hair stuff because it didn't work. Am I selecting all of the hair controls now, or just the first ones again? All right, let me select the hair again, and I'm going to play with these parameters. I need to make this way harder and maybe a bit bigger. We'll do something like this. That took a while though, which is annoying because it's not good content, is it? Let's select all those hair controls again. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. And then let's try that again. I'll go back to this mode so we can visualize it a bit easier. Boom. Okay, overlap. So that's going to take a while. So again, feel free to have a chat with me if I'm not too boring. Also, if you haven't followed, give us a follow and you'll get notified. If you have the Twitch app, you'll get notified on your phone when I go live. That's a good way of seeing when I go live. I'm being a bit more consistent with streams now because I'm in between jobs. I start a new job January 10th, so got a few weeks off. Oh. Okay, looks like it's going through the controls. And hopefully we've set these parameters up correctly this time. I just want it to be close enough, and then I can maybe use animation layers or something to clean this hair animation up. But this is another paid tool I'm using right now, called Overlapper, which is from Animprops, I believe. But I mean, what do you guys want to see if I was to do more streams? You know, is it educational stuff, more fun stuff? Personally, I really like doing challenge streams. Myself and my friend Marcus did a stream last week where we did a few poses for each other and then handed those scenes over to each other and had to figure out how to transition between them. So we were just being super nutty with it, and it was good fun. Challenge streams are great. Good. Yeah, I think they're fun doing them, so I hope they're fun to spectate. But I mean, I feel like animation's too niche that this stream can never like blow up, you know what I mean? Like, it's not it's a very niche thing, isn't it? 3D animation. I don't think it can ever be like a huge spectator thing. Like, gaming's just so much easier. But then it's way more competitive, and I'm a professional film animator, so I have expertise that others may not. Watching your streams are fun. Thanks. I'm happy you like it, Luke. Make sure you're followed if you're not already, and then you can follow me on everything. I always post on Twitter when I'm going live as well, so that's a good place to find me. It's annoying that this tool is so slow. It's a bit of a dull moment in the stream right now. Education is cool, but but challenges are really cool too. Okay, a mixture then. All right, let's see if this
Wow.
is.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
We've.
Wow.
Oh, it's getting there. I really don't understand the parameters
Wow.
on this thing. Softness 1. So let's do softness 0.5 and try again.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not
'Cause
once.
that's
Wow.
not.
I didn't
You know, I mean, maybe I can unsmooth it and scale it down a
feel
bunch.
sick at all. Not once.
I was just
Wow.
trying to be cheap and get free animation,
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
but it's going mental.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not
What's
once.
next? I don't know.
Wow.
I haven't got anything planned.
Wow.
I definitely want to do some more challenge
Didn't
stuff.
feel sick
Scale this way
at
down.
all. Not once.
Yeah, this is not going to work, is it? I need to just do it again and hope that I get good parameters this time. 0.4. It just takes so long. This is a hair product commercial now. Yeah. Yeah. Basically feels like it, doesn't it? Have you guys got any... What do you think would be a good animation challenge stream? Like, what kind of stuff do you like? I've done streams where I've given myself a random prompts and I've had to make something really quick. Let me find some of those because they're quite fun. I've done ones where we have groups of people and we all have to make it work together, where we have prompts which sync up with each other and stuff. Like, let me see if I can find, where would this be saved? I guess maybe it's in the actual anim folder. I really like these streams, which I did with Adam, who's usually in chat, where he made some poses and then I pushed them a bunch. And I showed some ways to make poses more graphic and appealing. This was a real fun stream. What else do we have? Toaster Rage. This was a random prompt that I was given and I had to make an animation out of it. Okay, this is just the blocking. Where's the final version of that? Is it this one? I mean, it's all blocking, but some of it's further along than others. So this was an animation I made in like 3 hours where I was given the random prompt of transform or something. I can't remember the exact prompt. Scary. I think it was like Halloween time. So that was a fun one. Sakika S scene challenge. I mean, that would be cool. For sure.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Why is this struggling so much? I don't understand this tool. 0.5. Let's just reset it and do it again. And if it doesn't work, then we'll just stop. I'm trying to cheat my way around having to hand animate this hair, but, you know.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Yeah, this
I
is
didn't feel sick
hella
at
broken.
all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick.
I need a button that selects all the hair, really. That already selects the hair. That's annoying. Is this selecting just the hair? I think it might be. Let's make a hair button. Hair. Cool. And then I can save this as well. Let's just do hair up here. So this is why I use a picker, because then I don't have to select everything and it takes ages to select everything. Let's turn this way down.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
And maybe hit it with a ULFO because things are just going mental. It didn't
I
fix
didn't
anything.
feel sick
Amazing.
at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
I need to learn to use this tool properly because it would be so powerful if I did, but I don't know how to use it, so we're not
I
going
didn't feel
to use
sick
it now.
at all.
Have I not selected all the hair?
Not once.
We've got these guys going mental. I think that might not be in my hair selection. Let's update that button.
Wow. I didn't feel
Is it hard to
sick
do a
at
picker?
all.
No, not at all.
Once.
I actually did a stream recently where I made a picker for a different character. So let me find that. How do I look at my VODs whilst I'm live? That's the real question. Is it possible to look at my own VODs when I'm live? How does Twitch work? That is the real question. I did a stream where I made one, and I'd love to be able to find it, but I really don't know. Maybe I can... Oh, I can find it. I can find it. I did this stream a while ago, and I make this picker here. I make pickers really small on purpose because I like to animate on one screen. Some people's like big pickers, some people's like small pickers, but for the first 30 minutes or so of this stream, which was a while ago, I'll link it to you now. I make a picker. I make this ugly picker, but it's practical. It does what I need it to do. So I'll post that for you guys. Let's look at this guy. Let's play blast this guy for a last time then, and then we'll end it for today. I think we've got pretty far with him. I think I'm decently happy with the results. I might animate his hair and figure that out off stream. Seems really practical. Yeah, pickers are great. I use pickers for everything. Every production I'm on, if they don't have pickers, I make my own. Speeds me up a bunch.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
So here he is.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. At all. At all. Not at all. At all. At all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I also flip my animation to see it with fresh eyes. That helps a little bit.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
I think this expression doesn't work for me when I flip it, and I think it's because the asymmetry in the brows, this is just pointed too much compared to this one. I think something about it's a bit broken to me, so I'm gonna have a quick look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, I can kind of see it now. So maybe I just want to tone this down. Maybe more, maybe more. Let's see. Let's turn that down to like here. I feel like that asymmetry was a bit much and it didn't look good.
Wow.
Play blast again. Another. But anyway. That'll be it for the stream today though, guys. Thanks for coming along. I'll do some more streams. I'll come up with some more ideas. I'm going to figure out this hair animation and then I'll probably just post this to Twitter. So if you want to support the stream, spread the word.
Wow.
I always tweet, so give it a retweet when I go live.
Not once.
And
wow.
for this,
at all.
I'm going to post this as well, so you guys can give this animation a like when I post it on Twitter.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
So there it is.
I didn't feel sick at all.
Thanks for coming along, everyone.
Once.
I guess I'll find someone to host. Let's see if anyone's doing any 3D
all.
animation
Not
on
once.
Twitch right now.
Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Art,
wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not
3D.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
3D modeling.
Not once.
Any 3D modelers?
Wow.
What we got?
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Let me do a
Not
search for
once.
animation, see if anyone's
Wow.
doing animation.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
Cool.
I didn't feel sick at
I can
all.
see someone doing animation here, so I guess I'll send you guys over to this person.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
Let me copy their user.
I didn't feel sick at all. Not once.
And I wish you guys the best. See you guys next time.
Once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all.
Laters.
Not once. Wow. I didn't feel sick at all. Not once. Wow.
See you later, guys.
Weird thing about it too, I never mentioned, like, Ozzy Osbourne's like rock and roll, but they're playing it like cowbells and everything. There's no electric
Yeah.
guitar or anything, so it's so out of place. It so
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Thank you, Chester Animates, for hosting the stream. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chester Animates.
Thank you for hosting the stream, I appreciate it.
The host alert worked. I was worried that my new alerts weren't working, because sometimes people would host the stream and like it wouldn't work. But thank you, Chester. If you were streaming, hope you had a good stream. What were you working on? What I'm working on here is doing a little announcement post for the place I'm working at, which is Netflix. So we're just cleaning up this little doodle I did on my phone last night. And yeah, that's what we're working on. It's great fun, I like it very much.
Wow, I didn't feel sick